Yes, we're in the building. I'm back again. It's me, Agent X, aka Black Yoda, on some Oracle status business.
Got a trim today, ain't ya?
Yeah. Got a trim and all that. Yeah, whatever. Don't give it all that. Yeah, en route to clarity. The draw out. Make some noise, man. Make some noise, man. We here. Yeah. I'm gonna raise it a little bit today, cause no low energy business. But yeah, big up all the man them. Everybody.
Yeah, inside the place.
Males and females,
Yeah.
everybody okay? Everybody good, yeah?
Yes.
Good, yeah. All right, cool. Like I said, we're not gonna do a low energy thing today. But yeah, okay, cool. So, you know how we do by now. We answer a question,
Yep.
and the question is because there's a lot of like narratives out there, aren't there? Like, you know, just generally, you know. And I'm gonna ask the question today: are narratives a necessary evil?
Yeah, I think they can be.
It can be.
They can be.
It could be. Can be.
Yeah. Do you feel like as humans, to depend on where your mind is,
Mhm.
without sounding too, judgmental,
Mhm.
narratives help people with living.
Mm. Definitely. Depending on where you're at, what you're
Yeah.
doing. Yeah, which is pretty much the reason why I asked the question. Let's start from the beginning and let's look at some narratives.
Mhm.
So I want to start from the very beginning, which is where a lot of people probably go wrong, which is false narratives.
Yes.
You know, things that are just presumed to be true and actually have no foundation in any truth at all.
Can we have an example of a false?
I, d- I hate to get specific with these kind of things, but
Do you think we need to do?
let's just for example,
Just for the viewer.
just for the viewer, let's just so a false narrative. All white people can't dance.
Yeah, definitely. That's very false narrative.
I don't know. Do we continue with what we consider false
The
narrative?
narratives change over time because I feel like that's a narrative that's changed over time.
Has it? Maybe.
Yeah, I feel like they've got better. Like obviously within
No.
integration.
What I mean by that, I mean as in like certain stigmas and stereotypes.
But if you said that 50 years ago, I think that it'd be if maybe factual. But if you say that in 2021,
I don't think it would be. I don't think it would have been. I don't think it would have been at all. I don't think it would have been, to be fair. I just think that again, like I say, there's certain narratives that just stand the test of time and just there because people just
yeah, 'cause
it serves a purpose. It serves a purpose for some. It just serves a purpose for some people. Some people, it, like I say, it does something for them, maybe for their self-esteem, maybe for their whatever it is. Like I say, like it goes back to what I said before about willy waving. You know what I mean? It kind of feels good to say like we're better than you, or you know we do this better than you, or I'm naturally better than this than you are. Do you get what I mean, or whatever?
Yeah.
That's just feels good for some people.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Some people they place importance on it. So in that sense, the false narratives, it's in some people's interest to keep them alive. Do you get what I'm saying? To keep them going. Do you get what I mean?
Definitely. Would you say some of these false narratives? I'm not going to get personal because I keep religion out of it. Do you feel like stereotyping goes underneath false narrative, or you feel like there's some stereotypes that are factual?
Most stereotypes are loosely based around some slither of truth.
Yeah,
Do you get what I mean?
definitely.
But they are still stereotypes nonetheless. Now, obviously, you know, people would argue that we use stereotypes to keep ourselves safe or to keep, you know, just generally in our day-to-day lives, you know. Whether that's right or wrong, you know, that'd be up to the individual. People would argue that they don't use them. Some people would argue and be honest and say, yeah, I use them daily. Like, do you know what I mean? If I walk down the road and I see, you know, 3 guys at the bottom of it with their hoods up, I don't assume they mean me well. So I cross the road and blah, 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 blah. Do you get what I mean? Like, that's a stereotype, because those guys could be anybody doing anything. Do you see what I mean? But you assume the worst before you assume the best. That would be a stereotype, a negative one, but at the same time, in the scenario, you would assume the worst and hope to be proved wrong rather than, do you know what I mean, walk down that dark alley and just assume that they're good guys. So stereotypes, like I say, we use them all the time. But in regards to narratives, I think, especially like with the false ones, like I say, different people use them for different reasons. Do you understand what I mean? Yeah. Like, so I'll give you an example. False narratives can happen very quickly. Very quickly. So, for example, DMX passed. Yeah. R.I.P. DMX. Yeah. Now, he's had struggles with drugs in his past, right? So because he died from a heart attack, instantaneously, the narrative is not even former, drug addict, da 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 da. Yeah, that's the narrative.
And they even pushed it as well.
That's the narrative, yeah? Now, it's a false narrative, but it's a narrative nonetheless, and that's the one that was out there and blah, blah, blah. So whichever narrative comes out after that, whatever the family might say, whatever the doctors might say, everybody's already associated whatever has happened.
Close the chapter, basically.
It's already out there, whether it's false or not. It's already out there.
It's like when bad press comes out about someone, it's so hard for them, the good press, when they do maybe come out innocent, the good press never comes as loud as them.
Which is the reason why people have PR. Do you understand what I mean?
I'm getting that.
See, this is the reason why people have PR, because they control the narrative. Do you see what I mean? They control the narrative. They tell you what we're going to talk about and what it should be. And you understand what I mean? And they don't let you stray from that. Do you understand what I mean?
Definitely.
So, for example, you've now associated DMX with a drug habit he may have had many, many years ago.
20 years ago.
Well, we don't know, but I'm just saying, I'm just giving you an example he could have had many years ago. From what I know, he had just done the verses with Snoop Dogg. He'd done the Drink Champs. He'd put out new music with the Locks.
Did you see how he was talking and everything? It was the best I'd seen him in ages.
Well, like I say, from what I can see, from what I saw, he was active. He was doing music again.
Yeah, it's usually kind of uncomfortable to watch a DMX interview. You know, like when he's under drugs.
Yeah.
You know, like he's still talking realness, but just the fidgetiness of him was a lot. But that Drink Champs one, he was so calm. Like for like that's almost the DMX that we knew initially. You know, the ones there.
Yeah, definitely.
And the way he was able to break things down.
He was composed.
Even his
definitely.
humor was, you know what I mean? In a good place. All of that, like it was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just like he was the best I've seen him in ages in terms of an interview, sitting down.
Yeah, and I just think, again, like I say, like, because the narrative around him and behind him wasn't controlled, it's just like, it's already out there about him. This is who he is, irrelevant of what he's doing. Do you understand what I mean? So when something like that happens to him, it just gets attached to this, regardless of whatever. Yeah. Do you understand what I mean? Whereas other people die, you don't talk about what they were doing 20 years ago.
No, very true.
Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
You talk about the person who died. Do you see what I mean? And their legacy or their whatever the case may be.
The paper, did you see the paper where they had DMX on one side and Prince Philip on the other? And just the way they worded it.
Yeah, but I mean, even that, I mean, you're talking about the grandfather who died, you know, the partner and the confidant, I would imagine, to the Queen for many, many years. Yeah. So you're talking about the man who died. That's what you're talking about, and you're paying homage to him. You're not talking about what he did 20 years ago. Do Do you know what I mean? If you started talking about what he did 20 years ago, you would have to make reference to some probably really unsavory comments that he made. So you know what I mean? And that it would be considered the wrong time to bring up all of that stuff. Why would you want to talk about that? You talk about the man, his legacy, his children, his grandchildren, his his wife, all the relevant stuff. So again, like I say, he might have. I'm not saying that, and in fact, let me not even go there because I don't want people to start. But yeah, the point is
it's just the way they did it. You know what I mean? Like I say, without getting conspiracy, it's just that it's ridiculous. And
well, it's not even for me. For me, it's not a conspiracy thing. It's just reality, isn't it?
No, it is,
you look at the front cover and you think, oh, okay, cool, no problem. Because again, like I say, you hear DMX, you don't hear rapper died of a heart attack. You hear troubled soul, and he had his demons, and do you know what I mean? All this alluding to all this crazy stuff. It's like, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying any of that isn't true, by the way. Do you see what I mean? But what I'm saying is when people die, like he's dead now. So again, like I say, as far as I'm aware, when he died, that wasn't the case. From what I know anyway, he wasn't in that space. So I'm just trying to understand why that's instantaneously the first thing that's pushed. Is his drug habit or whatever the case may be.
The whole vaccine thing's been thrown in the mix of it.
I heard something about that, but I'm not really too versed in it or whatever. I didn't really. But I'm saying I'm not sure if it was his family who said that or if his family said that.
Vaccine.
Okay. Yeah. Well, like I say.
What's the trouble somewhere, and then again, that thing's not going to work with everyone, is it?
Well, that's something. Yeah, don't even draw me out to that one. Yeah. What I was gonna say is, we've touched on false narratives. Another thing we can touch on is lazy narratives. Yeah, so these are the ones that are true to some degree, but are used to kind of diminish responsibility.
Yes, I believe in that.
Do you get what I mean?
From what I'm getting from you, like things like snitches. There's a lot of lazy narratives around snitching.
Yeah, of course.
Of course. I'm just trying to use examples of what I'm taking from what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
A perfect example is I'll give you a ideal scenario, a perfect example of it, and then I'll give you a trivial example of it. Yeah. So the ideal case would be the main reason why there's so much crime and knife violence and all the rest of it is because there's a lack of opportunities and money. Poverty basically. Poverty and basically economic and lack of opportunities. Yeah. That is in some part true, but it's a lazy narrative because that isn't actually the reason.
Yes.
Do you get what I mean?
Because we could argue that poverty builds character as well.
We could, but also we know for a fact that the people we're talking about are not actually impoverished. When you talk about poverty.
Yeah, but it's like even when you say that, I looked more deeper into the poor countries when you said it.
Yeah, exactly. What it builds in. Yeah, exactly.
You know the ones there. That's what
exactly.
I was coming at with it. Like,
exactly. And we know that these people that we're talking about are not that.
No.
Do you understand what I mean?
When you talk about like when you say in a place where it's not really.
Mm-hmm. Do you see what I mean? Right. So a trivial argument, or not argument, but a trivial example of it would be, boy, you know what? She's 18, there's nothing I can do, what can I say? There's nothing I can do. She's big people now. What am I supposed to do? That's a trivial example of a lazy narrative. Do you get what I mean? You understand what I'm saying?
Almost letting your own child fall into the lazy narrative.
Well, you're diminishing your own responsibility in the situation because society says she's an adult now, she's 18. So now I can diminish myself of any responsibility because she's 18, right?
Wow.
So what do you want me to do?
That's deep.
What do you want me to do? Boy, they're big people, man. Everybody's big people. What do you want me to do? No longer a mum, am I? No longer a mum. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I now have diminished responsibility. And anytime you try to throw any responsibility in my way, I can just tell you I done the best I could, and I never raised her like that, and she's 18 now, and if that's what she wants to do, what can I do? Everybody's big people.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want me to do? See what I mean? So that's a lazy narrative. And there's loads of them. Do you get what I mean? There's loads of them. Do you know what I mean? Another one that I've probably mentioned a few times, and you know, one that I love is I've tried everything.
I hate that one.
I love it.
I hate that one.
I love that one.
I hate that one.
No, I love that one.
You know, even I've looked everywhere.
Yeah. No, because I have. Obviously. Because that's actually possible. That's actually physically possible. Possible. You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's literally crazy. Some of the stuff you hear people say. But again, let's go back to the importance of controlling narratives. The importance of controlling them. So why they could be, going back to my initial point, which is, are they a necessary evil? Mm-hmm. Like, is there a point in controlling narratives?
Do you feel like there's some people that are narrative controllers and there's some people that are born to be part of the narrative?
No.
No,
I believe. I shouldn't even say I believe. It's possible for anybody to control their own narrative.
And not everyone does. But not everyone does.
Because not everybody places importance on how they're perceived.
Yeah. And how much people even understand what a narrative is?
I think they understand what it is. I just don't think they place importance on them controlling it. They'll just moan about how they're perceived, but they don't understand that they can control how they're perceived.
And why I say that, because I feel like it's easier to follow the narrative. Because even the whole narrative of what your life's supposed to be.
Yeah, but again.
You go to school, you go to college, you go to uni.
Yeah. I mean.
You retire at 60, 69.
Is that a lazy narrative?
Yeah.
It's a lazy narrative, isn't it?
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like you fall into the category of either narrative controller, because like someone like yourself, like myself, we haven't allowed the narrative of what society to control us to even what we're doing now. We haven't allowed the narrative of the safety of the narrative as well. We should talk about the safety of narratives.
Yeah. That's a bigger point. To be fair, narratives can be a safe haven.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You need to top him up, mate.
That's definitely true. Oh, just Coke, please, for me, mate. Thanks. But yeah,
about the drink, people. About
but yeah, for me personally, myself, I've noticed that certain narratives can keep people safe, because once a narrative has built up around you, depending on who you are and what you're doing, that narrative can be your safe haven. Thanks, man. Cheers. That narrative can become your safe haven. And stepping out of it or doing anything outside of that becomes so alien.
Exactly.
That yeah. So yeah, definitely. What I was gonna say is that, like I say, the importance of controlling them, as in like we said, PR basically. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you notice how it's very important for certain people, countries, so on and so forth, how they're perceived. The perception of them. Not what it is.
No.
It's irrelevant.
And why do you think that they worry about? I always thought that. Who are they caring about? Who are they caring for? Why are they profiling? Who are they profiling for?
Because perception. It's a bit like when people say your reputation precedes you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand what I'm saying? You're a lot more likely to trust something or someone that has that reputation before you are going to trust somebody who doesn't. Do you understand?
Definitely.
So whether I'm trustworthy or not, it would still be in my benefit for the perception of me to be trustworthy.
100%. And I feel you there.
You see what I mean?
Yeah. So they've understood what works for them.
No, they've understood that it's not what it is, it's what it looks like. Yeah.
From years.
They've understood that for years. So some people get that point and they're like, okay, cool. So we'll control the PR, we'll control the narrative, and we'll put it out there, and we'll talk about what we want to talk about, when we want to talk about it, how we want to talk about it, or we won't talk at all.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean?
100%.
And then other people, on the other hand, have narratives put out there about them and complain about it, but don't ever actually put out a narrative of their own.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see what I mean?
100%. Because that's what it's been about, narrative controllers and narrative joiners.
Well, I mean, anyway.
No, I'm gonna say it.
Okay, people are not gonna like me. They're gonna like me for this, man. Okay, so when I look at, they're not gonna like me for this, man. But they ain't gonna like me for this one. But yeah, when I look at like British, and I hate to be specific here with race, but British black comedy, yeah. Don't get me wrong, there's some great young and older black British comedians, so don't get me twisted. I grew up watching a lot of them and the programs that used to be on and all the rest of it, and even some of the newer stuff. But what I'm saying is that when I look at black British comedy, and maybe again, like I say, I could just be out of touch. Do you get what I mean? But
it's repetitive.
It's
to say the least.
It's like, do you know what? I'm trying to find the right words, and it's like
self-degrading.
Stevenism.
Stevenism. I need to know what that means.
Well, I told you who Steven is. Steven is. You've seen Django. Yeah. So you know who Steven is. If you know watch the film, man. It's Steven.
What's that?
Django. Steven.
He's like
from Django. He's Steven. Yeah. And what I'm saying is that it's borderline Stevenism in the sense where when I say that, what I mean is.
Just say it, man.
No. Because I'm not. Because what it is that what they're doing is basically using the same stereotypes that we would take offense to on one hand, but then using them, and that's actually supposed to be funny, like ha ha ha. It's like
give me an example.
Okay, so I'm trying to think of a program, a radio station or whatever, where they're not talking slang or trying to be street or urban or whatever you want to call it. I don't know.
One thing, I know what you mean, but I was in Jamaica, I noticed a big billboard that they had for Digicel, which is the phone company out there, obviously you must know. And then the promotional, said enough data, and I had a problem with that.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, enough data. I was like, that as a promotional advert, it shouldn't say that.
Yeah.
It's not about slang. You know
See, the thing is, like, although I don't really like it, but in the Caribbean, I don't even mind it too much.
Only reason I say that is because again, when we're in Africa, all these
places,
they still have English.
Yeah.
I mean, Spain, they still have English on them kind of signs.
Definitely.
So when I've travelled enough to see the mobile signs other places and see that it's English still, one, and they're still speaking proper English,
Yeah.
My whole thing is, again, they try to make us feel like like poverty comes from lack of knowledge. It doesn't come from someone not giving you money.
Yeah.
So if they keep your frequency low, you know what I'm saying, in terms of like your understanding and your need for wanting to know how to speak properly in this way or that way or this way, you know what I'm saying? Even to know French and to know different languages.
Yeah.
I didn't understand why I was even doing them lessons, and I flopped them. You know what I mean? It's 'cause, like, what am I learning French for?
Yeah.
As I got older, I was like, I wish I knew more.
Yeah.
Like, bonjour.
Yeah.
And they go, you're like, oh shit. Where do I go from here? You know what I'm saying? Whereas if I took some time, maybe I would be there. You know what I mean? But yeah, I didn't take. You know what I'm saying? When I see people learning languages, I know people that know all 4 or 5 languages, and the way I look at that these days to how I looked at it like when I was a teenager.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a different thing. You know what I mean?
No, definitely. Right, it's I'm trying to, for me, I'm trying to really bring it back to just the importance of controlling the narrative more so.
Who though? Who controls?
Everybody, anybody, like
basically what narrative or the importance of
personally, as a group, just generally narratives. Like so for example, there's a narrative right now about you that you probably don't even care about. 100%. You're probably not even aware of because you don't care about it.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? So it's not even of any importance to you to control it.
Yeah.
Whereas some people, on the other hand, wake up every day and control their narrative.
Try to.
They do. Some people fail. Some people try. Some people. Do you know what I mean? But
when it comes to being a narrative about someone, I believe like again, those things are all personal and down to perception. Yeah, and so then it comes down to every kind of narrative is down to your perception of how you look at life. Do you know what I mean? And how you look at whether something's good, bad, or whatever.
Oh yeah, it's obviously what you place importance on.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying to you is that the narrative is it a necessary evil?
How is the narrative created, and how many people have to be part of it for it to be an official narrative?
That's a good point. Usually it's a few, like a good few.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? Like you would have to say.
What's the minimum though? Let's say.
That's what I was gonna think. I was thinking like.
I'd say 2 people.
I was gonna say 2, but then I would like to say more. But yeah, I suppose it don't really need more than 2. Anything 2 or more, or more is like pretty much
Like, as long as 2 people, one and one.
Yeah, that is it, isn't it? Yeah,
both of them are saying it.
Yeah. I suppose 2. Yeah.
It's enough to create. It starts nothing.
Create a narrative. Yeah.
Narrative to start.
And like I say, the reason why I'm saying that it's a necessary evil in certain regards is because, like I say, on one hand, you wouldn't like certain narratives that are out there about you. Or okay, let's look at I'll give you an example. Black males. Yeah, the narratives that are out there about black males, we don't have to go into the many negative stereotypes there are. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
But my point is that's only so because you don't control the narrative.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? You don't control the narrative, and although you may not like the narrative that's out there, what narrative do you put out?
You feel like people fall into narratives?
Well, of course you do.
There you go. Yeah.
Of course you do. Do you see what I mean?
Because I feel like there's times where people it's almost like a narrative put on them, and they know that it's being put on them, and then people just become part of those narratives. Because when you think about back in the day, Like, whether someone was a gangster or not, they wouldn't be sharing themselves. Whereas you got these days where man are just with guns in their video and talking about whatever they're talking about.
And that's my point. Because people are more concerned with the narrative than what's actually happening.
You
see what I mean?
True. That's very true. Like, even to the point where there will be names of people, like, you know, growing up or whatever, you might hear a name of someone, even in just, we break it down to school days, before we even take it to the streets, there'll be a man in school, man is talking this and that about him, and then you know what I mean, you end up giving him a, just because you're not scared, you know what I mean? Yeah. And he ain't had a punch before because he just was working.
But without social media and all these things, it was easier to control a narrative.
Yeah, it was, and to just change it as well.
Because you could just end up being that guy's friend, and no one would ever hear about that fight.
Yeah.
There was no social media, so no one was filming you on the floor saying "ah" and all of that, and that never happened.
It's real talk.
You and the 3 people who were there know what happened,
and that's it.
He probably isn't going to say anything because you'll beat him up, and the other one ain't going to say nothing because you're all friends. So
yeah, and you're not going to say nothing because you're honor.
Well, you ain't going to say nothing because you lost. Let's get that right. Yeah. See what I mean? And he ain't going to say nothing because he's your friend now. So don't matter. He rates you because you actually had a fight with him. Do you know what I mean? That's why he rates you. He rates you because you actually had a fight with him.
That happens a lot.
And you punched him in his face and it hurt a few good times. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? He beat you up, but it was a fight, so that's why you're friends now. Yeah, because he knows you're not an idiot. Basically,
made friends.
Do you get what I mean?
That just because I'm rated. I always tell people that if someone's ready to fight, they're not. You can't call him a pussy. I don't care if he got bad. That he was ready, innit? You can't call him a pussy. I don't think you understand.
We always end up digressing.
It doesn't matter.
I know it don't matter. This is all part, but go on.
But yeah, I just think like if someone's ready to fight, regardless, you know, like if someone's there with their woman and someone's violating, and the guy just he's just ready for to defend regardless. He might not win the fight, but you can't call him a pussy.
Yeah, but you know what it's like these days. That's what I'm saying. People just throw that word out there for anything. No, that's just what they say. Definitely. This is what they say, isn't it? You know, he's a pussy. Okay, cool. Well, what happened? He got beat up. Okay, that doesn't really make him a pussy, does it? Like, I mean, I know some really solid individuals who have been beaten up, mate. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, what do you mean? Do you know what I mean? Like, and that's no disgrace. Like, that's just like just part and parcel of whatever. Like, okay.
You know what I mean? And that's what with the narratives. Again, another lazy narrative.
Well, again, like I said, there's so many of them. There is so many of them. But the main thing with narratives is don't complain about them if you're not trying to control yours.
That's right.
That's the point. Don't complain about the narrative if you're not trying to control it.
The system's a narrative. And that's what people complain about a lot, and they don't try and
change it. The system is a lazy narrative.
Yes, you know what I mean?
Do you know?
Lazy narrative.
It's a lazy narrative.
Definitely. 100%.
You know? And some people say the government. So it's one in the same, because when some people say the government, that's what they mean. They mean the system, the government. Yeah. It's interchangeable. They just say anything. Yeah. Do you get what I mean? But it's all lazy narrative.
Definitely.
So it's all basically the same, isn't it? So basically, like, you know, boy, nothing's going to happen out here because, you know, the government. It's like when people say they. Who are you talking about? You don't even know who you're talking about. You just say they, and they don't want us to. So, who are these people you're talking about? Do you get what I'm saying? You know, the people in power. It's like, okay, like, who are they? Do you get what I mean? Then they'll just start naming some really famous families. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, all right, dude, cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They even just, that's what I'm saying, they didn't even put just a colour to it. And that's what makes me laugh. That shows people the lack of knowledge. Because when people just assume there's one culture that's got the most money.
Oh, well, even just when they just attribute something to, like you say, just one culture, they're like, hey, they have done all this. It's like, okay,
you're giving them more ratings than you think you are. You know?
And it's not even so much even that you're giving them more ratings. It's just the fact that you don't even know what you're talking about.
No, exactly.
That's the point. Because if you did, you wouldn't be naming the people you're naming. That's the point.
That's it.
Do you get what I mean? If you knew even a little bit more about what you was talking about, you're close. Close but no cigar. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, you're halfway there, mate. Just dig a little bit further. But yeah, it's for me personally, myself, like I say, false narratives, lazy narratives are the reason why narratives are important to control. Because otherwise, people run away with the latter. They run away with the false narratives and the lazy narratives, and then what happens is that the truth doesn't matter anymore. You see what I mean? It's actually irrelevant now. Do you see what I mean?
You think that's where we got to now?
That's how it is usually with most things. I mean, like I said, if you care about it, then you control it. Do you see what I mean? You don't complain about it.
What would you say about cultural narratives?
Cultural narratives. Some of them are true. Do you see what I mean?
What do you mean by some of them are true? And they all true?
Cultural narratives. Not really, because...
You can't say someone's culture is a lie if we don't know about it.
What do you mean? No, I'm talking about the narrative of the culture.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, like... Alright, you know, like the whole... Let's talk arranged marriage, for instance, yeah? That's a cultural narrative, right?
It's a narrative that's attached to certain cultures.
Like some of us that's not in part of it. We just think we know about it, but we're very lazy narrative when we talk about it, innit?
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah,
because we don't really know too much about it. You know what's there. So that's what I was saying. Even like, whereas maybe people on the outside be like, oh, arranged marriage, I think that's bad. I think someone should be able to choose them. But maybe that arranged marriage might last longer than a marriage that was. And I'm not saying that makes it better.
Yeah. I mean, again, that's like some people.
I'm just saying narrative-wise.
Narrative-wise, that would be a lazy narrative in the sense where to just assume that an arranged marriage should somehow be a negative.
You understand what I'm saying?
That would be a lazy narrative because that's just to assume that it would be almost impossible for somebody to be happy in that scenario, and that's not true. Do you get what I mean? But again, like I say, with these lazy narratives, what you'll find is that we, like I said, because it is attached to a sliver of truth, what we do is we take comfort in them. Do you get what I mean? We take refuge in them. Do you get what I mean? So it's like it's easier to just assume something about somebody based on a stereotype than it is to actually get to know anything about it.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you get what I mean? So, like I said, the lazy narratives, that's why they're easy to just throw out there because it diminishes you of any responsibility. Responsibility of what? Responsibility of taking responsibility, responsibility of having to know anything, responsibility of looking into or being informed or anything. Do you get what I mean? That's what they're used for, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's to get out of having to have any responsibility. Do you get what I mean?
What would the world be like without narratives?
That's a good question. That's a good question. I'm not sure. I mean, it'd be it'd be interesting. That's for sure.
Could we get away from narratives?
I suppose we could, but obviously there'll always be individuals, so there'll always be people who want to define things in certain ways and use narratives to do that, but we could get away from them. Yeah, definitely.
You think so? Because it's like Adam and Eve, there was narratives. Let's just say for argument's sake. Yeah.
No. It's not getting to biblical. I'm saying no, because we'd have to. But what I'm saying to you is,
how do you live without narratives? What are you getting up to do?
Sorry.
Let's say a man with no narratives in his life, yeah. Mm-hmm. His name is John, and tomorrow he's gonna get up tomorrow with no narratives, yeah. Mm-hmm. What's he gonna do?
Whatever he was doing.
But he's gonna join some sort of narrative, isn't it?
Why?
Because that's how the world's been set.
Right, okay. So what you're saying is that irrelevant of whatever you're doing, you're part of a narrative.
Yeah. That's what I've come to the conclusion after this conversation.
Pretty much.
You can't avoid narratives.
Which is the reason why. Are they necessarily evil? Because like I said, like I started with, people don't like them. People argue about them. People complain about them.
People create them.
People create them.
By other people.
Some people create them about other people. Some people push them. They're there. But the point is the fact that they are there and we all fit into one way or another, even if we're trying to live outside of the box, we still fit into a narrative somewhere along the line, then shouldn't we be trying to control it?
Control it as, when we say it?
The narrative. But because it exists whether you want to control it or not.
I just feel like narratives are joined to perception and perspective. So it's hard to change everyone's narrative when we've all got a different perception and different perspective.
No. So for example, people have a certain view and opinion of, for example, the royal family. Yeah? And that's because their PR puts out what they want you to know about them. They give the interviews they want to give. Do you understand what I mean? So it's very controlled. What you know about them, what they put out there, how they're seen, what pictures they take, where. Do you know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
So that's very controlled. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah. But
and I'm not saying.
There's still the other side of what people know as well.
Sorry?
There's still other sides to what people know.
About them? I mean, but you're missing the point is that what I'm saying, okay. So what I'm saying is you're not going to get them to come out and speak on it. So although you may have heard loads of stuff over the years.
But Andrew did come out and speak on it.
No. I'm not talking about Andrew. What I'm saying is although you may have heard loads of stuff over the years, Andrew's one of the things I'm talking about, the loads of stuff over the years, The crown, so to speak, i.e. the Queen, and I don't know what you want to call it, but let's just say the Queen, because she's the person who would have to speak for the palace, I would imagine. Do you know what I mean? She is the head of state, isn't it? She's the Queen. So the Queen has never come out and spoken on any of these things ever, because that's not what you do. You see what I mean? Now a Fergie can come out and speak, and Andrew can come out and speak. You know, Harry can go out and speak. Do you understand what I mean? But the way the monarch, that's why you see William, it is William, right? Who's being groomed to be the king, right? Yeah, William, you see he sparingly speaks about anything. Definitely nothing controversial. Do you understand what I mean? Because he's already being groomed, do you see what I mean, to actually be in that position. Do you understand what I mean? So, like I said, when you're controlling the narrative, you put out what you need people to hear and see. So, like I said, it doesn't mean that there isn't that other side and people don't know other things. They can know what they want, but you control what you speak on, how much you speak about it, when you speak about it, because even those things are relevant. That's why they have information acts and all these things. Do you see what I mean? So it doesn't mean that the information is not going to be made public, but it's just going to be made public by the time everybody who was involved in it is dead, and by the time anybody who cares about it is either dead or their grandchildren can, whatever. But the point is you won't be able to look at those files for 50 to 75 years. That's the point. Do you understand what I mean? That's the point. Do you get what I mean? And then by the time they're made public, who cares? Do you see what I mean?
You'd have to be a historian by then, basically, innit? Yeah, it's true.
Do you know what I mean?
You'd have to be a historian to even care.
People who are lauded now were hated at the time. Muhammad Ali's one. You know, the narrative now is that he's like the greatest ever and everyone loved him. But when he was saying he was the greatest ever, people didn't like him.
It's true.
People didn't like it.
They get him after, you're right. After the fact.
No, exactly.
Yeah, they give a lot of black people stars when they're not even here.
It's not necessarily...
Viggie's gone into the Hall of Fame, rock and roll. You know, like, it's like... Enough about people going to the Hall of Fame when...
Yeah, but... Again, like I say, it's just narratives, isn't it? It's like I say, some people, they only know the narrative, they don't know the story. Do you understand what I mean? So if you just looked at the narrative, you would think that he was loved when he was when he was actually telling people he was the greatest ever. People didn't love him then. Do you get what I mean?
If the narrative is not the story, so like I know it's not.
Yeah.
Well, how would we explain what the narrative is then? Is the narrative highlights? Like if a football game had a narrative, but obviously there's truth to it.
The narrative, I suppose.
Would the narrative be the highlights?
The narrative, I suppose, is just the common theme that goes around.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Generally, just in layman's terms, that would generally be what it is, isn't it? The narrative is just a general theme that goes around.
Yeah.
So there would be a general theme attached to you. There'd be a general theme attached to me, or do you know what I mean? Or like I say, a general conversation or narrative or whatever it is.
So it has to be. That's what I was saying. Yeah. So it has to be general. So when we're saying what's the minimum of people that can create a narrative? But yeah, it has to be kind of general, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's harder to control narratives if everyone's not on the same page.
You think?
Yeah, because again,
I don't think it is, because remember, listen, a narrative is like this, yeah. Because remember, most people just run with whatever's out there.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So a narrative is like this. I want you all to believe I'm a nice guy.
Yes.
So I get my people to keep telling you all I'm a nice guy.
Yes.
So irrelevant of what anybody else says about me, I don't ever get into a conversation about all that stuff that's being said about me.
Yeah.
I just keep reiterating the fact that I'm a nice guy, because that's the narrative that I want to push.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying to you? And that's how they work. So most people will run with that. He's a nice guy, and they won't even know why they're saying that. They'll just say that because that's what they've heard.
Yeah.
Oh, they say he's a really nice guy. Who's they? They is me. Yeah. I told you. I told my people to tell you I'm a really nice guy. So now you're saying they say he's a really nice guy, not knowing that they is me. But yeah, the point is I'm a really nice guy.
Do you feel like we create our own narratives for ourselves?
That's what I mean. Some people do because they're aware of it and they're playing that game.
Do you think you're doing that yourself?
Me?
Yeah. You see,
the reason why I said
like it was a bad.
No, the reason why I said because I know it's kind of like, just like with most things, it's a bit of a contradiction, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, on one hand, no. Do you get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because when you were saying like a man without narratives and blah blah blah, I did kind of anyway. Mm-hmm. But yeah. So on one hand, no. But on the other hand, yes. I suppose I would fit into a narrative somewhere.
Yeah. And you have your own narrative.
No, but there is a narrative about me.
Yeah.
Various narratives. Yeah.
But aren't the choices that we make on a day-to-day part of what we believe our narrative is?
Yes and no.
Mm-hmm.
Yes and no.
Elaborate.
Yes, because there's a part of you that does. It's almost like reflex. It's like, okay, like you start living your situation, as opposed to being who you are. You start living your situation. Do you know what I mean? But then on the other hand, irrelevant of whatever's going on, I always think there's a part of most people that kind of always wants or strives for something better or more. Yeah. I think that's kind of what makes you human as well.
Yeah.
That we kind of want more or better, or we want to do, or you kind of, most people do anyway. Do you know what I mean? And you kind of find it weird when you meet somebody who doesn't, because you kind of notice it. You're like, oh, don't you really want
to? Depending on your narrative.
No, but I'm just saying, most people find it weird when they meet somebody who doesn't have a certain amount of drive, and it doesn't matter what it's for, but just generally they find it.
Everyone's looking for that drive. Some people want people to party with. Some people want people to.
Oh yeah, but even some of those people are really driven people.
Yeah,
they're really driven to go and get crack.
They're the most driven.
But that's my point.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying to you? So again, like I say, like,
that's
you know,
driven to.
Yeah, it's most people, when they find people who just don't want to get out of bed and they're not depressed or they're not like suicidal or something, that's really weird. So like I say, people who have like literally no drive, it's like if you meet somebody like that, and there are a few, you kind of notice it because you think, oh, like you said, most people want to do something. And are driven to do something. Doesn't matter what it is, even if it's part, like you said, partying, something, whatever, it don't matter. But they want to do something. They're driven. They get up to do something. But when you meet somebody who doesn't, it's just like, mate, like, don't you want to do anything?
It's true.
Like nothing, like gets you up. Do you know what I'm saying? Like nothing. Yeah, man.
Do you
like,
think
no,
even
man.
the narrative of good, the bad, intelligent, and stupid is kind of blurred lines as well?
Elaborate.
Because like people that look at what people say as good, sometimes can be seen as bad, and what people see as bad sometimes can be good, just depending on what the circumstance is. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And some people think people are intelligent for the things that they do, and they're not necessarily intelligent. And there's some people that they think that they're stupid, but they ain't stupid. They're quite smart, just depending on what your
perception is.
Yeah. What serious scenario you put.
Okay. So this is the reason why. In fact, you know what? Let me just elaborate. So the point is, with the perception thing, perception without context is irrelevant.
But this is what I said, narratives.
No. But I'm. That's what I'm saying. I'm with you.
Yeah.
But I'm saying perception without context is irrelevant.
Definitely.
Do you get what I mean?
Definitely.
So again, that's the problem with the lazy narratives.
Yeah.
Is that
what you said? We have to learn that, innit?
This is what I'm saying.
You know what I mean? It's not how you just get to know.
This is what I'm saying. And you have to remember, not a lot of people want to learn anything. So it's easier to just run with whatever is being said and just like, yeah, that's what they're saying.
Changes.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, funny enough, when we was talking about conspiracy theories, I touched on that because I said to you, again, lazy narratives. The same person who said to you, black people couldn't catch corona, then said to you, black people could catch it but they couldn't die from it, then said to you, same person who said to you 5G is causing corona, said to you that there is corona, it's not 5G, but black people can't catch it. Then said black people can catch it but they can't die from it. Then told you the system created it to kill black people. Yeah. And the same person said all four of those narratives.
See?
During a space of like 3 months.
See?
The first lockdown. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's how dangerous the lazy narratives are.
Yeah.
Because people ain't even gonna really even address their own bullshit. And look at themselves and think, oh, like that, and I just said that, but now I'm saying this, and then like maybe I should do a little bit more research into things before I start.
Definitely.
Yeah, but
like I say, if even down to the street, perception of who was bad and who was good and who wasn't, who was this and who was that, that was all bullshit. Over time. Who would hold you down to who wouldn't hold you down. If you
but that's false narratives though. Now that's not lazy. That's false narratives. That's false narratives. Yeah.
So it's like these narratives that are, to me, that are important for them to get changed, because people are still going on like there's some sort of honor in it, or there's some sort of
I mean,
and there's no more honor in it, and it's just now even the youths ain't even doing that for money. They're just killing each other. Not that money would make it better, but it's just. There's literally no purpose.
Yeah, but I mean, with that side of things, it's just more like how bad you are, isn't it? It's just that's really more what it's got to do with now. It's not a case of
narrative of making you bad if you've done this and that.
Yeah, and the false narrative also of you actually proving something.
Yeah.
So it's like I've done this, and that now proves that I'm
this guy.
Yeah, it's like...
And people actually, sad to say that there's people that actually would change their behaviour towards those people when they hear something.
No, yeah.
So it kind of feels it.
No, it doesn't kind of feel it. It is that.
Yeah.
It is that.
Yeah.
It is that. It is that. And people rate it. People rate it. People promote it.
Go on like they're proud of that friend out of everyone.
Well, come on, man.
Understand what I mean?
Yeah, no, definitely. And then,
like, even when they realise that person's not really who they think they are, and then when that person's on dealing with drug abuse now because they're dealing with the things that they've done, no one's there. Now when they're asking for 10
but I mean, you have to also remember as well is that they would have already known all this stuff, but it's all right when it's all right. Do you get what I mean?
That's what's nasty.
Most people are all right for the raves and the good time, and do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The champagne and all the rest of it. Do you know what I mean? It's when, like you said, it's going wrong. That's when you don't really see nobody in. Do you know what I mean? But again, another story with the whole lazy narrative thing, though. One, just to touch on the whole. They're of age and, like, you know, what am I supposed to do? You know, everybody's big people kind of thing. And the diminished responsibility. It's like, I think that's something that's like crept in a lot over the last, I'd say, 20 years or so, give or take. Do you get what I mean? And it's like, I hear it so often that, and I look at the children that are usually being spoken about, and I have to say that I do think it is just literally a lazy narrative that's put out there to diminish responsibility, so I can then say, well, you know what, whatever they're doing or however they are or have turned out, nothing to do with me. Do you get what I mean? And it's literally that.
I think it's got a lot to do with this wanting to stay young thing as well, man. Like our generation.
Oh yeah, there's loads of reasons for it. There's loads of reasons for it.
With the kids.
Competing with the kids, wanting to stay young,
you know?
Getting my life back, you know, getting them out of the house. There's loads of, I don't know, but there's loads of stuff. But like I say,
it's your old ass. It's even, I don't know, man. I'm just gonna took my thing. Yeah, alright, cool. You see the whole raving with your kids for me. Yeah.
Oh, mate.
I don't know about all that, man.
No,
we can go to the family party together. You know what I mean? You can have a drink at the family party together, but going out raving with your kids.
Yeah, raving with your kids is, I don't know. It's mad. But I mean, all right. Let's all right. Since you want to talk like that, then let's talk about that. But are big people even like big people back in the day? Like how you remember big people being? Because I'm thinking about it, and like 50-year-old, like, see, like how I told you about the Stephen and the Stephenism, and I've got a few other little things that I've mentioned along the way, but we'll get into that. But I've got another little thing, another one of my little things. That's 50-year-old youngers.
Yes.
Yeah, 50-year-old youngers. That's a whole nother topic. But the point is, yeah, 50-year-old people are not like 50-year-old people you remember back in the day. If man said he was 50, he was like, "Raw, man's old, you know."
Serious.
Oh, well, he's 50. Do you get what I'm saying? Now, a 50-year-old, bruv.
Yeah, it's the same as a 30-year-old.
No, he's worse than the 30-year-old. He's worse than the 30-year-old because he looks like the 30-year-old, but he actually knows what to do with himself.
Yeah.
He actually knows what's going on. Do you get what I'm saying?
Serious.
Yeah, come on, bruv. He's dyed the beard. Do you know what I mean? He's got the hairline back. He's everything, bruv. Do you get what I'm saying?
Listen, hey,
you know what I'm saying? He's been to Turkey, got his teeth done. Like, he's everything, bruv. He's sick at it. Do you get what I'm saying?
I see how Ron Isley's getting bigged up online. My man's 79, yeah? From that verse, his thing's gone up.
This is what I'm trying to say to you, bruv.
He was the slickest motherfucker alive, you know what I mean?
This is what I'm trying to say. So, like I say, 50-year-old youngers, you can't really look at them and say, okay, 50 is old now, is it? I don't know, because I look at 50-year-old people now.
The way we're aging is changing.
Do you think? Because I'm seeing people, like, not being funny, but like collapsing and all of that stuff at like 35.
That's still gonna happen. I think that's always happened, and that's still gonna happen. Do you know what I mean? But I feel like at the same time, the people, the way people, the preservation, or the way people look these days at 60 even, like there's women at 60 that you would probably still like, you know, give them a go if it was that.
Yeah, but then you got 18-year-olds that look like they're 30.
Yeah, you do, but that's another story.
No, but I'm just saying. So it's like it swings and roundabouts, isn't it? Like I know 25-year-olds who are bald. And I don't mean like one. I mean like a few, like bald patches. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Stressed out. Like if you looked at them, you'd think they're like 39 or something. Do you know what I mean? Like
So
25, 30.
It's probably working on both ways. Maybe
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if it's like, I don't know if it's one way or the other.
But one thing, I believe that the youth preserve their youth a bit longer. Like when I see some of these 20-year-olds and they still look like they're 15 and that. You know what I mean? It's like 25-year-olds and they still got like they've got a teenage feel about them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
But then a lot of the older people that I know get told that they look young.
and they do. That's my point. That's what
Yeah, so I don't know.
They don't look like what our grandmas look like. That's what I'm saying. Like at work.
Yeah, no, but but this is okay. So
the dresses and that.
but again, even the way they carry themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not. Am I making sense? Like it doesn't. Like, I don't know, or maybe I don't know because I'm not a child looking at these people. So obviously, you just see the adults you see. So whoever you're looking at is an adult to you, isn't it? Do you get what I mean? Do you know? Does that make sense?
No, 100%.
But I'm just thinking about, like, for example, like, or maybe it's because of the interactions I'm seeing adults having around children. Maybe that's more what it is than the actual way that, because how you look or how you dress is not really so much the thing, because you are what you are, meaning as in your age, or if you're a parent or whatever you are an adult. Yeah. But what I'm saying is the interactions, it's not very adult-like. It's almost like childlike interactions that I see with adults.
That you couldn't take the amount of kids that our grandparents looked after. You couldn't take that to our parents.
No way.
For 6 weeks holidays.
No way. Impossible.
And we jammed at nannies like certain times at 6 weeks.
Well, I mean, obviously there'll be exceptions to that rule, but generally speaking, I would argue that a lot of people would not have that.
It's not.
They
wouldn't
have that.
Because I'll come to your nans.
Yeah, definitely.
I'll be there for 4 days.
Yeah. But again, that's because I think nowadays the way it is obviously back in those days, whoever's nan would have been able to slap all of us if we was doing anything she didn't like. And if you didn't want me to slap your kids, don't bring them here. Yeah. Do you get what I mean? Literally. Do you understand what I mean? Literally. Do you know what I mean? Whereas now you can't slap nobody's kids. Do you understand what I'm saying? You can't even talk to people's kids too hard because they're going to tell their mum. And it's like, oh, you're going to tell your mum, yeah? Don't bring that one back around here again. Yeah, and it's simple like that. No, because I'm not in an argument for nobody's children. So don't bring your child back here because I don't want to have to tell them to not jump on my couch. And then you're going to tell me about, you're going to tell your mum, and then we're going to argue about this child that I didn't ask to be brought. Don't bring him here. Do you get what I mean? It's easier that way, isn't it? Do you get what I'm saying? Do you know what I mean? And I see the way your face was wrinkled up when I told you I had to slap your child for jumping on. So now you're upset with me. Just don't bring them here. Yeah, it's easier. Do you get what I mean? I'll just say hello when I see you, and I see, oh, you're right, and that's it.
I don't think they want. I feel like if anyone has to do like look after kids at that level, they feel like they don't want to feel that they're there either. Like,
I don't think so much that. I just think people don't like rude or unruly children.
No, I'm saying like the reason why the grandmas won't take on the kids like they used to is because they don't want to feel like they're a grandma these days as much as our grandmas took.
I don't think so much that if the children could keep their ass quiet, as the nans would say, because if you've got children who come in, like you said, and they do their little thing or they blah blah blah, you know, I'm sure they wouldn't mind. Do you get what I mean? You know. But that's generally not how it is it? Do you know what I mean? They're going to come and they're going to want to engage it. Worse if they don't get certain engagement in their own house, then when they come there, that's where they're going to do their best work. And now you got to try and instill some sort of something in them, and it's crazy, you know. And then the person who should be doing that is going to be upset when you're trying to do it. Forget it. Just don't bring them here. Do you know what I mean? And that's pretty much what happens, isn't it? On the whole, do you get what I'm saying? You know,
you know what I'm saying?
You know, and some people even tell you, like, do you know what I mean? I can think of instances, like, do you know what I mean? Where people might have 2-3 kids and they'll be like, oh, you know, the other 2 are okay, but don't bring that rah, rah, rah. And you're like, oh, okay. Do you know what I mean? Like, literally, like, there's like the 1 out of the 3, like, just don't bring him, yeah? Or her, or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, the rest of them are cool, but her, nah. You know what I mean? But I suppose with older people these days as well, you have to remember, I'm just thinking about, when I said about the 50-year-old youngers, my whole thing was just that older people these days don't carry themselves a certain way. They pretty much are on the same par as like the children, that's or younger people. That's why I said 50-year-old youngers. I use the term playfully, but you understand what I mean when I say that. Because if you didn't know, you would think that. I see big people that, and conversations I hear them having with youths, like really young people, do you get what I mean? And I just think to myself, you and that, like, I can't imagine being 16 and talking to a 50-year-old like that. I wouldn't have felt comfortable doing that. 100%. They wouldn't have let me feel comfortable, even if I knew 2 little slang words that they use or whatever, and I felt like, yeah, you know what I mean, whatever. I can't imagine talking to them certain ways, but that's normal now.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
You know, like in our generation, if your parents were fucking up, grandmas was there, and you know, I'm not saying it all the time, because obviously some people didn't even have that. Do you know what I mean? I feel like that's where the respect came from. You know, like always knowing that the elderly people was the backbone, or you know what I mean? Like they was you could lean on the elderly people, whoever it may be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So whereas the generation that's come up, just the new generation, I don't feel like they've had the support from the elder generation that was above their mum. Even if their mums were slacking.
What I've realised is that a lot of people ignored the younger people for various reasons. So, for example, some people ignore, like, let's look at knife crime, for example. Yeah, a lot of people ignored certain youth that were around them, just locally or whatever the case may be. Some people who could have actually spoken to them, do you know what I mean? Maybe because the youths were bait, do you know what I mean? And they were probably doing their own thing, do you get what I mean? So they're looking at the youths like, oh, they're just hot, they're gonna hot me up, innit? Like, why would I even engage with them? They're just gonna bring heat my way. Let me just ignore them, do you understand what I mean? But they're the same kids who end up being involved in the murder of your nephew or your son or what, do you understand what I mean? And then you suddenly realise it does take a village to raise a child, and then you realise that, do you get what I mean? It does make sense talking to the youths, and you shouldn't just walk past them, and do you get what I mean? And you should hail them. Do you get what I mean? You know, and all of that kind of stuff.
And talk to them as adults, because that's what I've learned. That's how I've learned.
Well,
so
this
much
is the point
about these younger people, because I've sat down with some of them, and I've been at ear. Not only have I been at ear without trying to, because I feel like a lot of elders is always trying to tell their stories to these youngers while the youngers are going through certain things. You know what I mean? They're always trying to give a relatable story when sometimes the younger don't really need that from you. You know, it kind of just needs, he just needs the guidance, and doesn't really need to hear your stories. You know what I mean? So it's like, and because I've been like that with them, you know what I mean? These lot tell me a lot, and I ask them how they think. I ask them what they're going through and how they can look at situations. That's what I'm interested in doing in the conversation with them.
I said that to you before, is that a lot of people, when they're engaging with someone or they're talking generally, they're more interested in being understood than trying to understand. Do you get what I mean? So it's like they're just interested in telling you about what they're trying to say and getting their point across, as opposed to even understanding what's even going on or hearing what you're saying or whatever the case may be. So yeah, that I wouldn't say it's a skill, but like active listening and all that kind of stuff doesn't come easy to some people.
No, it don't.
So you know, like
I feel like
I don't even want to go into it. I thought of something, but that's
no.
It, man. No, I can't, because I know you have to edit it out anyway. Because that was
no.
no. I'd have to edit that one out. But All right.
You're the editor now.
No, I am. No, I am. This one would definitely have to come out. That one would definitely have to come out. But I just literally thought of something. I literally thought of something. No. I literally thought of something there, and it was a joke. Not only because I was thinking about people who basically turn everything back to themselves.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And like, you know, you say something and it's like they have to tell you about their thing. It's like you can't just listen to whatever's being said without somehow it coming back to you. And do you know what I mean? It's almost, again, it goes back to what I was saying. It's almost like competitive. It's like you want to now say, it's like, oh, I've got a better story than that. It's like, well, it's not actually a story. This is my life. This is actually what happened to me today. I'm trying to tell you what. Do you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, well, I got a better one. It's like, actually, you know what happened to me? It's like, bro, like, it's not about that. Do you know what I mean? So yeah. So
you know what? I would have listened to that story if you didn't get to be at that timing.
The thing about it is, I've heard the story 4 times. That's the thing. That is the sickest thing. I've heard the story 4 times. I know the story. It's the same story, bruv. It's the same story you always tell me, bruv. Do you get what I mean? Like, I've heard the story, bro.
Do you ever look at somebody
but bruv, you know the story, though, bruv. No, but bruv, you know the story. Bruv, do you see the thing is? No, bruv. No.
How are you telling me this again?
You see what's crazy about that is, yeah, bruv, when you give them the look and they don't acknowledge and they keep going, you realise that you don't. You know when you know that it's just straight up ignorance is when you say to them, yeah, you told me that. And they're like, yeah. So and they carry on going. You're like, oh, you're sick.
Yeah.
That's how I know you're finished now. Because you don't even care. You don't even care, bruv. You don't care, bruv. All you need is a torso with ears, bruv, and you'll just do your stuff, mate. You don't even care no more.
The wickedest one that you falling asleep while someone's giving you the gift.
Bruv, I could be there with no pulse, bruv. The guy don't care, bruv. That's what I said. A torso with ears, bruv. You need a head, bruv. You need a head to have ears, you know, bruv. Your ears are on a head. Bruv, a torso with ears, bruv. Yeah? Do you understand what I'm saying? That's pieces of a human being just there. And the man will just do his stuff, bruv. You don't care, bruv. That's what I'm trying to say. Bruv, you don't need a brain. You don't need a pulse. You don't need nothing, bruv. You don't need communication. You don't need nothing, bruv. You don't need a vibe. You don't need nothing, bruv. Yeah, just company. Do you get what I'm saying? Just company, bro.
Like, I've woken up feeling guilty enough, and then the tempo of talking hasn't stopped.
But
and I know I've blatantly gone. Like,
bruv, sleeping, everything. Yeah. Come back round, next going. Bruv, if you don't mind that man start slapping you in your chest. Like, bruv. Yeah. So what I'm saying is that that's sick, man, you know. Sick, bruv.
They're telling you you're crazy before the sleep. You're a mad man, you know.
Man just fall asleep in the middle of you're talking to man, you know, man, good talking, man just. It's like, bruv, no, bruv. You're talking to yourself, bruv, for the last half an hour. Like, there was no, do you get what I'm saying? No communication, bruv, do you get what I'm saying? I was blinking, then my neck started going, you carried on, it's like, bro, come on, bruv, man. Yeah, no, they are the greatest, though. I got a few people in my mind, like, right now. Do you know another one? Sorry, since we're digressing, let's digress fully. Do you know the one that's the greatest though? This is the greatest. The people that you say goodbye to, and they start conversations the closer you get to the door.
Long ones.
Do we all know if you? I don't want to look at me like that. Do you know them people? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. See you later.
Yeah. The move.
Yeah. So anyway, I was gonna say because you know what happened? Yeah, on Thursday, if you can. I've been here for 3 hours. You could have told me this at any time. Yeah, do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. Now I'm leaving. You want to tell me? Yeah?
And hold you up for ages.
No, but the thing is, you keep telling them you're going to go. Yeah, but anyway, I got to go, man, because so anyway, and they talk right through it, like they talk over it. Like, it's like...
My granddad never had it. He'll tell you to leave. I'm going to be like, nah, you said you was going to leave.
Yeah, come out. Oh, man. You're lucky, man. My mum will just ring you out. She'll look at her phone like that.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day,
and then because she's done it, she'll feel bad. She'll go, I'll call him back later. There's no one in the room with her, you know. She's there on her own, talking to herself. You get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? But yeah, no. Where was we? Where was we anyway with all of this?
We was just saying, yeah.
We digress so far left that
Yeah, but you got to digress.
No, we always got to digress. We always got to digress. It wouldn't. Yeah, I was gonna say it wouldn't be right if we didn't. To be fair, it wouldn't be right. It wouldn't be right if we didn't. So just to clarify, yeah.
Yes.
Are they a necessary evil?
Yes. You made me realise that today.
Don't say it like that. It was a question. No,
but that's not like talking to you. You just made me realise bad things.
They're necessary evil, yeah.
Yeah.
We kind of half. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the
All right, cool. Well, before we close up, I want to ask another question.
Mm-hmm.
Probably got some music lovers in the house.
Yeah.
Where would DMX rank on your top 5? Is he even in it?
Definitely. And I don't know why. I'm gonna be honest to say this. I've always loved DMX, but something about his death, it was like Aaliyah's. I don't know why that's funny how because they've been putting them together in a lot of pictures and stuff, but I'm not saying that I don't get too into people's deaths and celebrities and shit like that, but when I feel it, I can tell you I felt it in some sort of way. It was like a closing chapter for me. Like if I even post something, it's because I'm not going with the crowd. I'm going with it because you know what, like it meant something to me, and I felt something when he went. And I even kind of knew before he passed that I felt like it was the end. You know, it was there for him. You know what I mean? I felt like it would be a nice way to wrap it up for him as well. Just why he was healthier and things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but the way I felt, I kind of like there's something that made me know how much I appreciated his art more. And I realized that when you do pass away, people will appreciate your art, whatever it is that you've done, 10 times more. Because it's just like the conclusion of you, and it's like your art gets spread in it. You know what I mean? As you conclude. So it was just like when in terms of how because when he first came out, it was more we had to get used to him looking like Tupac. If you know what I mean, we was almost like these new Tupac guys. You know what I mean?
I didn't think he ever did really. To be fair, the Ja Rule one, I could understand the comparisons. And all
do you know anyone that was bald back in the day? Is just
I know.
We didn't have too many people to even.
I know.
But yeah, like I say to you, but then I got into his music heavy. Music was good. And then, like I said, just watching his life, I feel like that's a big part of why I'm going to answer that question as to why he's definitely in my top 5. Just know, like, as a conclusion, like, because when I look at everyone's life, been able to look at Park's life now, Big's life, you know, like all of those people, and I've even looked at them differently as an older person. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, definitely. So
I think for me, what it was is that when he done the verses with Snoop, there was a lot of people who were saying like DMX and Snoop, like that Snoop. DMX only got like a couple albums, like Snoop's got like bare tunes, like blah blah blah, and I was like looking at them thinking to myself, DMX got like he's got a catalogue, man.
Yeah.
Like you know when you like thinking about it, and you're thinking like, why are they talking about DMX like he's just simple, like, and like the amount of people we had like conversations about, like, and I kept saying like DMX is big though. I think people were like misunderstanding like what, like don't get me wrong, like. The Snoop fans obviously will, whatever Snoop plays, they're going to be like, he won. But I'm just saying that it's not like a given that Snoop win. No, it's just not a given that Snoop wins.
No
do you understand what I mean? Because the way people were talking is like, do you get what I mean? Like Snoop and DMX, to say it was like some kind of joke or something. Like no, like DMX is like
some people
didn't
live through that part. I know
that as well, and I think what it is because Snoop had the Pharrell era after, and he stayed, I would, for argument's sake, more relevant in popular culture. So more people have seen him along, like he just keep evolving and doing different things, and he stayed relevant. Do you get what I mean?
UK, unless you was a hip hop head, you did, like, I was a hip hop head. I can say I didn't even realize I was until these. You know what I mean? Like anyone that can mention those certain names from them times, we was hip hop heads. A lot of people like was listening to dancehall, like was strictly dancehall. I didn't even realize how much, but there was a lot of people that in their household was just strictly dancehall. A lot of people were strictly soca. If we're talking about, you know, like our communities in London, there's a lot of people that was garage. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of people that was on those kind of sides of things. Maybe even grime after a little while, but. They was never, for you to listen to hip hop, it was kind of a boring thing in them days because there wasn't too many events. There was a few.
I'll tell you the God's truth,
yeah. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you the God's truth, yeah. West London and South London, I find, were more hip hop based and orientated.
I fully agree.
Do you know what I mean? I think North and East, It's not to say hip hop wasn't a thing, because it was massive. But I'm just saying,
had to choose hip hop.
Yeah. Whereas in West and in South, I think it was more of a thing.
Oriented. That's why till this day, the history of Ladbroke Grove in the early hip hop stages. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I think MCD, is it MCD?
Yeah.
MCD was one of the first man to even get signed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
MCD was quality.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And when I'm mentioning these kind of people in conversations, I'll be like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's
like people wouldn't know.
We don't even know our own history. If you don't even know your own UK, whether you like man or not, you should know. I'm a person that I can still tell you about. We've met a couple of these guys or whatever, been around these guys. So I know who the people from them areas where they were just, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, we don't even know. If you don't know your own information. So when it comes to when you're talking to them and they're telling you DMX it's because they weren't there.
Yeah, but they definitely wasn't there, and that was the point. Is that
period
a lot of people they wouldn't remember the period unless they were there and they 100%. Lived through it.
Because if you said the same Method Man, they'll be like, yeah, but Method Man ain't got no.
This is what I'm saying. They would only know recent history, and in recent history, Snoop's been relevant. He's probably even had the little song here and there.
Not for music though.
Here and there, he's probably had a little 1 and 2 singles that have been out or whatever.
Production,
but like I say, even that song's a little while ago. But that was like the Pharrell era, innit, or the back end of it. But you know what I'm saying? My point is in the 2000s going on. You see what I mean? Even in, I'd say, argue from 2010 is where he probably slowed down.
Yeah. Do
you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I think he's the character Snoop Dogg.
That's what I'm saying. In popular culture, because remember the TV programs, this one, that one, he stayed relevant. That's my point. Even on social media, all these things, he stayed relevant.
He was the first rapper of that kind, if you ask me.
Possibly. But again, like I say, I don't want to stray too far from it. But the point is,
let's think about the CD covers. Let's go back to the CD. You know, the CD cover.
There
was groundbreaking things they did with Snoop Dogg. I'm not saying that it was all down to him.
In terms of what?
Like, you know, like him being that. He was the first young rapper of them times there, like that reached to where he did. You know, like and his CD covers were kind of raunchy, but they were cartoon. He kind of had a little. His branding was good, and he had Dre behind him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they branded him well.
They branded him well. You know what I mean? Like, as a young guy, I think he's the only person that we watched from that age to this point.
Yeah.
So it's like, I feel like, you know, like where that whole feeling that we know. Even his name, Snoop Dogg, it's almost like a Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
It's got a Michael Jackson thing to it.
I think with Snoop is that, like I say, he kind of embraced the character and then ran with it. Do you get what I mean? It's smart. Again, it goes back to what we were saying about narratives, isn't it? He changed the narrative. He created his own.
Yeah, understood.
You see what I mean?
As he was going along.
Yeah.
You start understanding the whole thing. You know, the longer you get in it.
Yeah.
And he's had time in it. You know, Master P gave him that. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, usually where would it ended for him, where that death row situations happen.
Yeah.
He's got picked up by these men in South. You know what I mean? He took the risk and went into New Orleans.
And more importantly, I think the gold for him was understanding his personality. Because when he realised that a lot of people liked him for more than just his music, that was the gold.
Yes, definitely.
Because that opened all the other doors, the films, the TV programs, the this, the that, the presenting, all that stuff.
Talking about Snoop Dogg and narratives, these men that told you, bitch ain't nothing but hoes and shrieks, but they were married. That's another narrative, false narrative that people was following for years. Most of these men was married, telling you.
Yeah, but they'll tell you that's just entertainment.
The homie can't handle.
And that was then.
But at the same time, they were married.
Yeah, that was then.
When you hear that man was married for 20 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They can't be following these guys. You know what I mean?
Well, again,
these
like
rap narratives.
I think it was Oasis who said something about I can't remember the lyric now. Something about don't waste your life following a band or something. I can't remember. Somebody get in the comments or something. There's somebody who remember the lyrics. I think it's Wonderwall or one of them songs. But yeah, basically the point was is just don't bloody don't place too much importance on these type of people and these things. Basically, is the point. Do you know what I mean? Don't waste your life following a band, mate. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, do you get what I mean? And that's the guy in the band telling you that. Do you get what I'm saying? Like the songs and that, come to our gig and that, but don't bloody kill yourself. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not that deep, bro. Do you get what I'm saying?
Too real.
But talking about real, the DMX thing, my point was the verses is when I realised, and obviously he was alive then, so the verses when I realised that people didn't actually credit DMX and his catalogue for what I thought was basically I look at DMX and I think to myself, he's a high level lyricist.
Would you put him in your top 5?
Let me just finish. He's a high level lyricist. He was a battle rapper and one of the best. He's a great live performer. He's got the catalogue, so he's got the hit albums and the just. I mean, he's got that. He's got the impact on the culture. So when I put all these things together, I think there's only one thing I've left out. Is probably freestyling or whatever, and I'm assuming he can do that. In fact, I know he can do that. Sorry, let me rephrase that. Sorry, I know he can do that. Yeah. So what I'm saying is when I put all those things together, I think, well, that's pretty much not all. He's got pretty much all the facets. He's got the charisma. That's why he went and done movies and blah 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 blah. So I'm just saying, like, most rappers that people would put in their top 5, I would argue, could only really challenge him on 2 of those 5 things.
Definitely.
So even if I wanted to leave him out, I'm trying to think of 5 people right now who would top him on all 5 of those things.
Yeah.
And that's the argument I would put forward. It's not so much that whether or not I'd have him in my top 5, it's that who would I leave him out for who would be able to top him on all of those things.
Yeah.
Because in that sense, he's one of the most rounded. I don't think you'll find another artist who is that high level in all of those things.
100%. Because like I say, can I go into saying, see, like what I learned about Tupac more as I got older, that he, not saying that he had never had no problems, but he was brought up in a very decent manner. Yeah, it might have been one.
What does that change?
That changes how I look at you to what I saw growing up. So I never got to see.
So did you not see him when he was doing Dear Mama and all the rest of it? Did you not see him before that?
What am I seeing? Back in them days,
he didn't come out gangbanging, is what I'm saying.
He did.
No, he never. No, he never.
I'm saying I wasn't old enough to see the other stuff.
Well, then that's what I'm saying to you.
But all I'm saying to you
so in answer to my question, because it's no problem. The point is, you knew him from a certain stage. That's what you knew of him.
And I'm not gonna deny that.
That's what I'm saying, and that's just not. But it's not a problem anyway, because most people would have known him from that stage.
Yeah.
That's my point. Most people would have known him from that stage. That's what I'm saying.
100%.
Yeah.
I do know though. About
whereas a lot of people wouldn't have known him from Digital Underground, and people wouldn't have known him from that.
I got to learn as well.
This is what I'm saying. A lot of people wouldn't have known him from that. Yeah. So they would just. That's the first introduction to Tupac they would have got.
Yeah.
Is from the rape case on. That's what they'd know of him.
And even your perception of the relationship that he had with Biggie and how like Biggie was just got kind of thrown into it all. You know what I mean? Like, when you hear the real stories from the people that are actually there, it's not, maybe they would, if they're lying, but from what I've got is that Biggie kind of just got thrown in, Pac threw Biggie in it and everyone else threw Biggie in, but Biggie was never kind of dropped his loyalty towards him. You know what I mean? He just got thrown into something. I wouldn't say he didn't drop his loyalty towards him. Biggie just didn't have control. I wouldn't say he didn't have control. I would just say he stuck to whatever code he thought that you're supposed to be living by. The situation that happened with Puff and Suge, that happened before their problem. Yeah, but you're missing the point. What I'm saying is his issue with Pac. Yeah. When all of that arose, remember, it was like, on one hand, you're blowing up a situation that I have no involvement in, yeah? Yes. On one hand, yeah? For the media spin side of things, yeah? No, we're agreed, we know this. But on the other hand,
it's actually attached to some real street shit.
Yes.
So because of that, I'm just gonna distance myself from the whole thing. Do you get what I'm saying? Because I know what's actually going on.
Distancing yourself and saying that he did something is two different things. Like I say, he made songs and everything was like Biggie got him shot. It was not. You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm not talking. No, I'm not talking. No, I'm talking about
Okay.
Pac distancing himself from it. I'm talking about Biggie.
Yeah.
Because
he went. Say for instance, when he got shot, Biggie went to the hospital. Biggie actually spoke to Pac's real dad, which Pac said in his rap songs that was dead, and he couldn't feel. He couldn't feel for a stranger.
Yeah.
But then when he actually got shot, his real dad's there. He actually is still alive. He's still in contact. Like, he's still about.
Yeah.
Going on holidays with him.
Yeah.
So even that side of it was like, oh, well, I thought the guy was dead. Like, he showed us the grave and the mama. Like, because my anger wouldn't let me feel for a stranger. So I was like, okay, like, who's this guy then? You know what I mean? This light skinned guy that looks exactly like Pat. And then, so there's things that unfolded on his side where, again, when you look at the Biggie story, there's a lot of funny things with Puff and a lot of other things. That's another story. You know what I mean? I'm not going to go into it. People can see that on YouTube.
I think what it is just that with Tupac and his death, it created like a Christ-like figure
and a false narrative.
Oh yeah, a false narrative, definitely.
East Coast, West Coast.
Definitely a false narrative. He died pretty much because of a false narrative. Do you get what I mean? But at the same time, it created a Christ-like figure. So his fans are literally that, they're fanatical. Do you get what I mean? And the people who love Pac, there's nothing you can say about him. Do you get what I'm saying? They don't want to hear anything about him because he's not human to them.
Yeah.
Do you get me? He's more than a human being. He's more than
Nipsey as well.
Yeah, I mean, people. I mean, I think with Nipsey is a little bit different because Nipsey died in a way that was like obviously very, very tragic, and
you're saying the Christ-like thing.
No, but what I mean is like if you look at the work he was doing in his community and whatever, I would just with Nipsey I would more say he's revered more so than the Christ-like thing. I would just say he's highly revered.
Gone as far as to say that he's the second coming of Jesus.
Oh well, those nutters are always going to be everywhere though, bro. There's nothing you can do.
Try to really like turn him like only
but like I say, those nutters are going to be everywhere, aren't they? There's nothing really you can do about them. But generally speaking, like I would more say he's highly revered within his little community, not little, but his community and the music fraternity. Yeah. Like it was one of those ones where I think a lot of people had a lot of respect for him. And
so you think it's a false narrative that you can't go to your hood when you success?
If it's a false narrative,
yeah.
If you can't go to your hood,
that you can't go to your hood if you're successful.
You can go to your hood. You can go to your hood, but you can't be moving there like you did. What would be the point?
I'm asking you, what do you think about that whole situation?
That's not a false narrative. That's reality.
Yeah, that's what I'm just discussing it with you.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like if you're famous, you've made a lot of money or whatever the case may be, then things change. That's just what it is.
Yeah, real talk.
It's just how it is. People try to act like, if they had $1 million, they'd stay in the hood, and they probably would. Do you know what I mean? And it'd probably come with a hell of a lot of court cases, fines, prison sentences, probably even a few bullet holes or something, stab wounds or something. Yeah. See, because when people say the hood, what they just basically mean is within a certain environment. That's what they really mean. You know what I mean. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. So, yeah, if you're gonna stay in a toxic environment and then try and do something positive from within that, then
what's crazy is like saying that. Like, how comes a lot of people, the wealthy people that buy houses that are just right next to us, and that's everywhere in the world. There's always a rich housing next to poor housing. How comes we naturally allow that?
Naturally allow what?
Like we kind of allow, like not allow it, but just like the rich people just safely live over there, but in the hood it's dangerous. No one robs the rich people like that. Maybe some people.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean. Okay. That's just economic, isn't it? It's like people with more money usually have more influence in what's going on in their communities. So there would be more streetlights. There might be more police. There might be more surveillance cameras. There might be whatever, because the people would obviously, do you get what I mean?
Yeah. But just naturally, even though those things are there, I just feel like someone could drive past a man that is poor, or a man that's begging with a Ferrari, and that guy doesn't feel like he needs to take that guy out the Ferrari. What is it that's been built within us that just allows someone?
What's he gonna do with the Ferrari?
No, I understand that. Just give me an example. Give me an example. Like, let's just not say that.
No, but what I'm saying is that's what. No, but that's what I'm saying. Hear what I'm saying to you. That's what's taking it out of them. That's the point. That is what's taking it out of them.
What is?
Exactly what we just explained there. You drag the guy out of the Ferrari. What are you gonna do?
Alright, forget that. Forget that example. I'm just giving you an example of someone that can roll past you with something that's like over 100-something grand, and your brain doesn't tell you that. Right, I can take that off them and be better off. Just forget that. I'm saying so. A watch.
Yeah.
Even though there's some people that do rob, I'm not saying that no one robs.
But that's my point.
But
is that
how comes like a poor person that's begging, will beg. Like at that point, they ain't got nothing to lose. So why are they even begging you? Why are they not telling you?
Because everybody doesn't have that inclination.
Yes.
Do you get what I'm saying?
No, I agree. That's what I'm discussing. These things are never discussed.
Yeah, everybody doesn't have that inclination. Like some people will be hungry and they'll ask people for something to eat. They'll ask people for something to eat. Do you know what I mean? Some people will be hungry and they'll ask people once, or maybe they might ask one or two people, and then after that, they'll take someone's food.
Yeah.
Or whatever the case may be. Some people will just not even ask anybody and just go straight to a shop and start stealing some food.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
Definitely.
You know, so it just depends on the mindset of the person, really. Do you get what I mean? But everybody reacts differently to different things.
I feel like it's definitely part of programming. Because, you know, like, even if when you go to different countries and you're saying, for instance, you're in Africa and you're in the slums or somewhere like that, and you try to even bring out the nice trainers, people are like, don't wear them, or, you know what I mean? They're more wary of these things that, like, in those kind of countries than we are. Like, we're more want to stunt even on our friends. You know what I mean? Like, want to make sure that I got.
But remember, we made these things normal. Yeah. That's the point. We made these things normal.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there was a time when it wasn't normal. And that's another thing that a lot of young people wouldn't understand, because they'll just walk down the road with a £600 jacket, and you know what I mean, £200 shoes, and do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whatever. Do you get what I mean? But
Serious.
And they think that's normal. Do you get what I mean? £1,000 phone. Do you get what I'm saying? They just think that's normal. Do you get what I'm saying? But we made that normal because there was a time when you couldn't. That's the point. There was a time if you pulled out your Sony Ericsson or your whatever it is, you know what I mean? It was a problem. It was a problem. Like, it was a very big problem unless you knew that you could. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it was a problem. Do you get what I'm saying? Mercury 1-to-1s, anything, whatever it is.
That's why I say there's a problem amongst each other. Like, that's what I'm saying to you. Like, say for instance, homeless people might even steal amongst each other, where before they steal.
Listen to what you said. Listen to what you said. Steal. So what's gonna happen is someone's gonna nick your whatever, and then help you look for it.
Yeah.
Who took it? No, don't lie. I think it was so and so.
Yeah.
Let's go find them.
Yeah.
These times he's got it in his pocket. They'll do that.
They'll do that more amongst each other than make sure that they. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like people will still amongst the people that they're living with.
Yeah, but that's just like with anything, isn't it? It's the same as violence, isn't it? You commit violence usually to the people who are closest around you.
Yeah.
It's proximity, isn't it?
Another one.
That's why it's stupid when people say like, oh, this and that violence or that violence is... Come on, man. If someone dies in your house, the first people they investigate is the people who live in the house. Do you get what I'm saying? Do you get what I'm saying?
It's because so true. But even when you think about it, even statistically, that it's proven that people don't just get murdered by a random person. Very rarely.
Usually it's somebody you know. Usually,
yeah.
Yeah, usually it's somebody you know. Do you get what I mean? So again, like I say, you would always start from the inside out, for want of a better word. Do you get what I'm saying? You would always look from the closest people to them, and then look outward. Do you get what I mean? Even if it's just to rule them out. Do you get what I'm saying? But you still start with them, to the closest people to them. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, man. But where was we with this one?
Where was we? So yeah, narratives.
Narratives.
False narratives, loose narratives.
Lazy narratives.
Lazy narratives.
We've already agreed that they are a necessary evil.
Necessary evil.
We understand what they are used for. What they can be used for.
Controlling narratives. You know, what else have we discussed? Joining narratives. One we can wrap up on.
Joining narratives.
Mm-hmm.
Elaborate. Go on.
A lot of lazy narratives are created by people joining narratives. And if people didn't join the narratives, would they have any life?
I think it's really what you place importance on, isn't it?
Yeah.
So those narratives become important because you place importance on them. Does that make sense?
Definitely.
Do you get what I mean?
Is that what politics is? Pushing, getting people to join the narratives?
Yeah, but you know what?
And what's the difference between a narrative and a stereotype?
Sometimes they're interchangeable.
Explain.
Okay, so some narratives are based on stereotypes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm a person who people would describe as black, so therefore I like chicken, right?
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying?
Is it true though?
That's the point. Do you get what I'm saying? Do you get what I mean? Now,
well, then what's the difference between a stereotype and a narrative though?
What's the difference between a stereotype and a narrative?
The same thing. That sounds like the same thing.
No, because, okay, so a stereotype on one hand is based in truth. Do you get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Whereas
a narrative, depending on the narrative, like I say, it could be just totally false. It could just be propaganda.
Can't stereotype be? Oh, hey, stereotypes are kind of based on truth.
They're based in truth.
Yeah.
They're based in truth.
Yeah, I hear you.
A stereotype is based in truth.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? It's a stereotype, but it's based in the truth. So go to any stereotype you think about, it's based in a truth. It's a stereotype, but it's based in truth.
Mm-hmm. I don't even want to say it's the ones I'm thinking in my head.
Say any one of them. Say any one of them.
I'm saying it in my head.
Go on.
No, they're all racist.
They're all racist.
Black people are lazy.
Black people are lazy. Okay.
Asians
Whoa. Now, when they say black people are lazy, that's based on
truth.
No. It's no. Listen. It's based, like I said before, in a sliver of truth, and the sliver of truth is this: what they mean is our demeanor. Do you understand? Our demeanor, meaning, if they care about something, I'm talking about anybody who's not black, non-black people. When they care about something, they see it in their demeanor. They think like you got to look a certain way. That means you care. Like I said before, a lot of people care about what it looks like as opposed to what it actually is. I'll give you an example. You could be at work and you've got the laziest person at work. They do nothing at work, literally laze around all the time. But they walk from place to place like they're the busiest person in the place. And just that walk keeps the manager off their back. Because that walk looks busy. That walk it's like it's got purpose. Even the way they're walking and looking at things, like it looks like they're doing the most and they're doing nothing. They're just looking for another place to hide out for another 15 minutes. but it looks quality. That walk will just, you just think, oh yeah, look at that. Oh yeah, look at them. And that's what I mean. Like sometimes you can do things with purpose and look like you're about the most when you're actually not doing nothing at all. And then other people, they might be doing the most. So for example, you might be serving, let's say you work in a store, you might be serving the most customers. But the one time your manager walks out, they see you standing there like this, leaning on the counter. So as far as they're concerned, look at you still, oh, don't lean on the counter, blah, 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 this one, that one. You're thinking to yourself, what are you talking about, man? I just served 50 customers. That idiot over there is walking around doing nothing. Do you get what I mean? But all they're looking at is what they can see, which is you leaning on the counter. They didn't see the 50 customers. Do you understand what I mean? So what I'm saying is when they say, oh, we lazy, what that comes from is their perception of our demeanor. You hear it a lot in football. I know some of you might not be football people, but what I'm saying is you hear it a lot in football. Oh, he just doesn't look bothered. Look at his body language. Basically meaning he isn't running around like a blue-ass fly 100 miles an hour when the ball's nowhere near him. Do you understand? And he looks generally relaxed. So their perception of that is he doesn't care. He doesn't care. Look at him. He's lazy. You know what I mean? He doesn't fight for the team. He doesn't... Do you understand what I'm saying? So that's the sliver of truth that it's attached to. So that's what I'm saying. It's a stereotype. It's a stereotype that's been attached to us. That's based in that, I wouldn't even call it truth, but that slither, if you want to call it truth, that half a truth. Do you get what I mean? But it's just based on somebody's perception. Does that make sense? So that's why I'm saying that narratives, and that's a good argument. That's a good example there. That narratives and stereotypes can be interchangeable, because that stereotype has become a narrative. Yeah. Do you get what I mean? Definitely. Especially like with the football example, it's become a narrative. So now if you're a black footballer, if you're not running up and down 100 miles an hour, you're lazy. Do you get what I mean? It's like, oh, he's a bit lazy, or do you know what I mean? So, yeah.
Never understood that. You see like the racism side of football. Like, these same guys that say, when these men score, like, I didn't really understand. Well,
it depends. If it's club football, yes. If it's club football, yes, because you just want to win. If it's national football, no.
I can't really weigh up on national football because.
Well, I'm telling you.
No. I'm saying I get what you mean. I'm saying my question comes from the things that people go through for the clubs.
Yeah, and I'm saying to you, club football, yes, because club.
What?
Club football, yes, we'll scream and shout for anybody who scores for our team. Yes, that's right. Yeah. But national football, no. That's what I'm saying to you. No. Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
So if English, like
national football, no. No. That's I didn't say that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying to you, national football, if you understand how it works, it basically goes like this. We'd prefer to lose with our mates than to win with you. That's what I've watched over the years that I've been watching football in England. Exactly what I said. I'd prefer to lose with my mates.
Who's saying that?
Whoever's picking the team. We've all been in a park and picked a team, said line up against the wall, and you pick your team, isn't it? Now everybody's got their own preference. Some people pick the best players, some people pick their friends, some people pick the people they can play better with. Everybody's got their own preference, but you pick your team, don't you? That's what I'm saying. And whoever's picking this team is saying, I would prefer to lose with my friends than to win with you guys. That's pretty straightforward. There's nothing to not understand. That's like me going somewhere now.
I understand what you're saying.
I know you do. I didn't say you don't. I'm just breaking it down again. It's like me going somewhere now and us playing five-a-side and me saying, you know what, I'm going to pick you guys, even though I could pick Neymar and Mbappe. Do you know what I'm saying? Like six professional footballers. It's like, don't make no sense, right? You're going to pick the 6 professional footballers and say, you guys are my friends, but I want to win the competition. It's kind of what you do, isn't it? Do you get what I mean? But in this scenario, that's not what happened. Do you get what I mean?
Definitely.
For many different reasons. Like I say, there's loads of different reasons, but do you know what I mean? It's a mentality thing more than anything else. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like...
But how can you care so much about something to be racist to the guy, even this guy that's playing for your team? And then when he scores, you're happy.
Again, like I said, listen, it's not to say you don't want to win. It's not to say you don't. Like I said, it's even a funny one because it's not to say like there isn't players of other ethnic origins in the team or anything like that, or there isn't any, there's different. There's all different people in the team. Basically, is the point. There's black players in the team. There's all sorts. But the point I'm making is not that. The point is this: is that if you look how the team is picked, the squad. That's a better way to put it than the squad, not the team. The squad. Yeah. If you look at how the squad is picked, then you will see that, and rightly so, I suppose. Like, do you get what I mean? In a funny kind of way, you would want to promote. Basically, it's like an old boys club, isn't it? That's basically the point. So people promote certain people. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's just how it is. They promote certain people. Do you get what I mean? And yeah, other people.
It's politics, isn't it? Basically, narratives.
It's politics, yeah. Basically, because like I said, some people you'll hear about them straight away after pretty much nothing, and doesn't mean they're not good. Doesn't mean that they're not. Do you know what I mean? All of that stuff, but it just means that the way you hear about them, you're like, whoa, you're basically told that this person is this and this person is that. Do you get what I mean? This person has to go to the World Cup. Yeah. He has to be in the squad. Do you get what I mean? This is what you're hearing. Like, do you get what I mean? And then other people, it's like, well, you know what? I'm not sure if the manager's going to take him. He might be in the running, but he's definitely got to do more. These are again, narratives, isn't it? That you hear in the conversation behind certain names when the name's said, and then you realise and you're like, okay, cool. So this guy, I'll give you a perfect example, yeah? Two completely contrasting things, but the same thing, yeah? You've got, and I'm going to give you two examples of the same thing, yeah? So you've got Phil Foden at Manchester City having a great season, yeah? Now, Phil Foden nailed on to go to the Euros with England. Nailed on. He's going. Do you get what I mean? Young guy, teenager, talented. Do you get what I mean? English, playing for Manchester City, scoring goals in the Champions League, having a great season. Then you got Jude Bellingham, yeah? Jude Bellingham's at Borussia Dortmund. He's doing exactly the same thing. He's scoring in the Champions League. He's playing at a high level. He's 17. Do you get what I mean? He's just taking this thing for a joke. Do you get what I mean? Now, the narrative of Jude Bellingham is it might be a little bit too early for him.
Regardless.
Might be a little bit too early for him. He's 17. He's playing in the Champions League. He's scoring goals. He's having like the season of his life. Now, surely if you're picking people on form, it's a no-brainer, right? He'd be in the squad at least. Yeah. He might not be going, but he'd be in the squad. Yeah. Go on. I'm going to light up as well, just so you can make the noise. Go on, no, do it. I'm gonna, do it, because I'm gonna. You're part of the production now, so I'm gonna click with you at the same time. So it's not like you're breaking up the. Yeah, sorry, go on. Yeah. So with him, how do you explain that? Why is he not nailed on to go? You should be raving about this guy. You should be like, it should be like, do you know what I'm saying? He's English, right? He's gone to Germany at 17 years old and he's smashing it. Like,
Blackie.
What?
Is he Blackie?
He's of mixed heritage.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, no, yeah. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, that's
so what? But what I'm saying is he's not nailed on, no. Like he's not. It's not like a given that he's going. Do you get what I mean? But you've got another teenager who's doing it. Don't get me wrong, he's doing it, and he's just. Do you know what I mean? He's having a great season, and again, this is what I'm saying. It's not to say that he's not good or he should have been. And again, people might have reasons. They'll have loads of reasons why, and and this player and that player and the balance of the squad and But I'm just saying that I don't know anybody 17 who's doing what he's doing. So how can he not be going if he's English and he's doing that at the highest level? And we know that Champions League football is supposed to be a higher level than international football. So if we know that, and he's doing that at 17 years old, why would he not? And I'm not saying that he's not going to go. He might well be taken. But I'm just saying the conversation when his name's brought up is like, it might be a little bit too soon for him. Even Jadon Sancho, I know this is loads of football stuff that's way over here, but the point is, Jadon Sancho, who plays for Borussia Dortmund as well, it's like, oh, is he going? Isn't he going? Whereas you got somebody like Jack Grealish, who's injured, but people were saying he has to go based off of what he done, his performances before Christmas. You got people who are doing it right now in the Champions League, and you're saying it might be too soon for them. But you're talking about a guy who's injured right now and what he did before Christmas, and he has to go. So I'm just saying the mindset, the way like they talk about it, is like different for different people. Yeah. Do you get what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And that's the point. You know.
I wouldn't know that. You know.
Yeah, no. But I'm saying certain things.
You have to school me in the football league.
Certain things are like what would be a pro for some people would be a con for other people. So like a perfect example I give people all the time is like Michael Owen and Jermaine Defoe. Mm-hmm. So Jermaine Defoe is basically Michael Owen. Mm-hmm. Some people would even argue he's probably got a little bit more to his game. Some people would argue. Do you get what I mean? Mm-hmm. But he is basically Michael Owen. The only difference is that no one ever really built a team around Jermaine Defoe the way people built a team around Michael Owen. Yeah. Do you see what I mean? That never happened. And even when they played Jermaine Defoe or whatever, what you find is it was like, again, like I say, everything that was a pro for Michael Owen would be a negative for Jermaine Defoe. So for example, I'll give you a perfect example, yeah? Michael Owen never had to track back. And the argument they'd give you for Michael Owen not tracking back is, you don't want him there. He's not dangerous there. He's not effective there. You want him up the end of the pitch. You want him scoring goals. You want him as close to the goal as possible. You want him playing off the shoulder, running in on the goal. That's the argument they would give you, yeah? So basically, don't get him involved in the rest of the game. Just basically have him up there as close to the goal as possible. Jermaine Defoe, on the other hand, when he'd be doing that, which is because they're basically very similar, they're pretty much the same player, for argument's sake, give or take. But the point is Jermaine Defoe, when he'd be doing that, what you'd hear is, he doesn't get involved in the game. He needs a more all-round game. He needs to get involved in the link-up. He needs to get involved in the passages of play. Do you know? Yeah. You know, he's very greedy. He's very selfish. He just wants to score. Do you see what I mean? You know, he doesn't help his team much when he's not scoring goals. What does he do other than score goals? This is the stuff you're hearing. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Now again, like I say, it's crazy because you look at it and you think, they're doing very similar things, but the way it's spoken about and the language that's used is very different. Do you understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And then you think to yourself, well, what's going on there? Do you get what I mean? And you're like, am I the only person who's hearing that? Do you get what I mean? You know? So it's just little stuff like that. But since we touched on the race thing, and like, you know, I always like to throw a spanner in the works. I'm going to ask a quick question. I say a quick question, but it's not that quick. But do we allow a comfortable space for people to even talk about race?
Do you want my real answer?
Yeah, of course. That's why I asked the question.
I think sometimes the racism issue is used in places where it doesn't matter, and not highlighted in places where it does matter.
Definitely.
So in industries where it's actually
relevant
and affecting people, it's never discussed. But in just some general way where it's never gonna
somebody in McDonald's waiting for their chicken mayo with no mayo. Yeah.
So
Now it's racism.
It's always highlighted for something that's not going to even change nothing.
Yeah.
If it's going to be highlighted for something that don't change nothing, it's like I don't understand this.
Yeah, but the thing is, I'm not even talking about highlighting it. What I mean is this, yeah. Do we allow, and I mean everybody, do we allow for a comfortable place to have a conversation about race? I was told once, when you're at work, 3 things you don't talk about: politics, religion, and race. Yeah, that's what I was told. If you want to keep your job, that's what I was told. Yeah, if you want to keep your job, 3 things you don't ever speak about at work. Yeah. So what I'm saying is it still like that today, or are we in a place where race doesn't matter and we can just talk about race? Race is like free. We just.
Yeah. I think that one.
You think that one? Yeah.
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 But like
you think so?
Okay.
No. Let's put that to the test.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you could say anything you want about people of other races, generally, how you generally feel honestly from your heart in front of them? I'm not talking about.
Yeah.
You do, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because I don't.
Yeah, because of your institutionalized.
No, I don't.
Do you know? But that's because of again, just how we grew up, innit?
No, I don't.
Still say
the reason why I say that is because most people are not one thing. Do you understand what I'm saying?
No one is one thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, no. But in that being the case, then there's going to be something you hold dear. Do you get what I mean? There's going to be something. Do you see what I mean? So in that, so in that one thing that you hold dear, you may offend.
Yeah.
And in order to not offend, you will just hold that thing even dearer.
Yeah.
You won't speak on it. Do you
Yeah.
understand? For want of for the need of not wanting to offend.
Yeah, but what if some things they're unnecessarily said. So if you say something unnecessarily to offend.
No. Listen to what I'm saying to you. If we're sitting here now, all talking about, I don't know, I'm trying to think of an example. If we're all sitting here now talking about George Floyd, for example, you know, could your Asian friend turn around and say to you, he was taking drugs though? Do we allow for a comfortable place for people to question situations and scenarios where race is an issue? Is there a comfortable place for people to do that? That's what I'm saying. I'm not talking about, do you feel like you can say to your black friend, how long does it take you to do your hair like that? That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the stuff that you don't want to say to your black friend or around your black friends. That's what I'm talking about.
Do you feel like the way that they make us feel like a victim to questioning on scenarios of things that we like to tell people they can't relate to, whether we know where they can individually or not? Because we talk to people and say that they can't relate to things when you don't know if that person's actual dad, forget their colour. Yeah. They might have had a direct situation with police where their dad their police battered their dad in their face. But you're going to tell them that they can't relate to some struggle of 800 years. Yeah? Yeah. So it's like, for me, that conversation of telling people you can't relate, you don't know whether people can relate or not. You don't know people's life. You don't know what they've seen and what they haven't seen. Yeah. And a lot of things of what we can relate to should only be based on what we've lived through. Because a lot of things that we're basing on what people can relate to and we can't relate to is that we're talking about something that happened 400 years ago when we can't even tell people what our great grandparents were doing. So if we don't even know our own history, what's the point of taking some selective history together to now tell people to be offended based on that shared history that we're supposed to just share. Some bucket of shared history that we're supposed to get offended on. But when actually talking about real history and history of self and my own history and my background of where I come from, that's not the same place you come from. And neither is the same place that any of these lot come from. But when we meet up collectively, we're here today. But this is the history we're talking about. And if I deal with people based on how I've met them, and like I say to you, and how my interaction with them. If I dealt with everyone and say, "Oh right, you're from this country, wow, haha, you lot are da," and I don't even know why we take on Americans' problems as well. America needs to deal with their problems. Like they got man them in the videos with all of these guns, but then we play victim when someone gets killed. So it's a bit hard it's a bit of a hard argument to fight. We're fighting against everyone else killing us, then we're killing ourselves.
Yeah. So and there's a lot of people who feel exactly the way you said, but they're not black, so they can't say that.
You know.
So my point is, you pull the face there, but that's a fact. I know a lot of people who would say very similar things to what you just said, and they would tell you right now that if they said that, they would get attacked.
Yeah,
literally.
I believe that.
Do you get what I'm saying? Because no,
feel oppressed. I see black people going, "Whoa, you're oppressed. How are you? Can you explain to me how you guys are?" Yes, they feel oppressed. There's times where these people feel oppressed as well, but we can't get to them that they're telling their truth. That's their truth.
The thing about it is that, like I say, you got some people who want to just say the obvious. Do you get what I'm saying?
Well, for most,
and what I'm saying is you almost make some people feel racist, or they want to even, I wouldn't say become racist, because if you're racist, but you understand what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is you make people sound or feel like they have some hatred to it, because by the time they could, basically there's no comfortable place to say things in a normal way. So it can't be a conversation as opposed to, I'm really angry about this thing, let me say it like this, so I'm going to get attacked anyway, fuck it. Yeah. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, do you get it? So it's almost like you feel like you have to come with this. Don't get me wrong, and don't get me wrong, because I find that people tend to deal with us that way anyway. Like, I find a lot of people tend to approach us with aggression, assuming there's going to be a problem. Do you get what I mean? So that tends to happen generally anyway. So let's just get that out of the way for anybody who might be misconstruing what I'm saying. But at the same time, obviously, we ourselves, we can be very reactionary, very emotional. Do you get what I mean? So just off the back of that alone, do you get what I mean? People who already assume that every reaction is going to be an overreaction wouldn't feel comfortable having that. So they would keep it to themselves. So then that leads to misconceptions, false narratives, lazy narratives.
Then they're running
we could go on and on. We could go on and on. No, but do you see what I'm saying?
Definitely.
And that's the point. So the reason why I brought that up is just because, like I say, race seems to come up every time we talk about stuff and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But the point is that
we got one
black people, race. White people, Asian people, Chinese people, everybody leave a comfortable space to have a conversation with people. Yes, other people, definitely, basically. Definitely. Do you see what I mean? No, you say definitely, but it's not that easy for some people, because some people label everything. And like I said, there's narratives attached to those labels.
But the good people are never highlighted.
The good people are, I wouldn't say, well, yeah, the good people don't get as much.
They don't get no airplay. Let's be honest. We highlight bullshit, we highlight bad things. We highlight everyone saying the negative. It could be one man that said negative thing, we're going to put that on that whole culture. The Italian man said something, we're going to put that on the whole of Italy. This one says something, we're going to put that on the whole of, but we never put that on ourselves. That's us deep.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, because we're all one, innit? From Africa.
But again, like I say, if you look at that, you say we don't put nothing on ourselves. We do.
We do,
man. We do.
We do.
We do.
Go on, give me an example where we do.
What, put something on ourselves?
Yeah. Put our own downfalls on ourselves.
Our own downfalls on ourselves?
Yeah.
Oh, my days, bruv. Oh, come on, bruv, man. Seriously, bruv. Bruv, we glamorise the whole crime, fraternity, prison system, culture. Yeah, so that's glamorising.
No, I'm saying, when do we blame ourselves? Give ourselves.
Blame ourselves. Yes. Oh, see.
Because we throw a lot of blames. We throw hella blame cards around the place, and then we acknowledgement cards, and counter bills. We got a lot of counter bills. Stocking up debts of accountability.
Yeah. But like I always say with that one is all that's happened with that is that we give it's, I know you don't like it, but it's like going to court. We have become our mitigating circumstances. Do you understand what I'm saying? So when you go to court, for anybody who doesn't know, you give your plea, which is basically you're guilty or you're innocent. Do you know what I mean? What we do is we don't want to say we're guilty of whatever and then get to explain our mitigating circumstances. We come into the court explaining our mitigating circumstances and don't want to give a plea. And that's what has become the issue for us.
Have you ever thought it's funny that you're not allowed to say the word innocent? So you're either guilty or not guilty. So either way, the word guilty is involved. Either way, the word guilty is involved.
Well, the word innocent does come into it, but not with the charge. You are presumed innocent until you're found guilty.
No, that's what I'm saying.
But so innocent word is acknowledged. But the point is even when you're found not guilty, that isn't based on the assumption that you're innocent. Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like,
But the word innocent will be used sparingly.
Yeah. We're gonna use that on some next thing. We're not gonna let you affirm that into your life. We're gonna let you know you're even
But I think with that, that's what's pretty much happened, is that we've just become our mitigating circumstances. So we want to kind of
as well. That's the thing. Like,
no, I'm just talking about. I'm talking about the black people
the black people.
Black people you're talking about.
That's why that word
the black people you're talking. No, but we know it is. But what I'm saying is the people.
The white people.
But what I'm saying is the people who would use the narrative you're talking about. That's what they would regard themselves as, isn't it?
Who? Yeah, no, I'm saying
black people.
But I'm saying the fact that we even say that word that trying to put us all in the same place when we're all from different places as well. We're not even allowing ourselves to, be.
Yeah, but again,
the German man and the English man don't think they're the same person.
No, they don't think they're the same person.
Yeah, they don't think they got the same heritage, the same history, nothing.
No, they know where their histories are intertwined.
No, it's not intertwining. They're from Germany, they're from England.
The Queen's German.
Yeah, I didn't say she weren't.
Yeah, so their histories are intertwined.
Who's dead? I'm saying that's the individual's history.
No, the country's histories are intertwined.
Okay, I'm not going to argue with that because I don't know about
I'm telling you. Yeah.
No, I believe that. I believe that. I'm saying, but a German youth and a French youth don't feel like they're all like, and an Englishman is the same as them.
No, because they based their thing on nationality.
That's what I'm saying. So why can't we do that?
No, what I'm saying to you is, listen, what I'm saying to you is that we can base ours on nationality. That's not a problem. That is pretty much what we are doing, to be totally honest.
What we should do, we should be referred to from where we're from, if anything, just like everyone else. Not as a tone of our skin that we're not even that tone of skin. So the tone of skin that we're dressed in black that's not even the tone of skin. So
I'm agreeing with you because I don't like the word black. We've had this conversation so many times.
We're all not from the same places. That's what I'm saying.
No, but you always go back to it. But what I'm saying is we know we're not all from the same places. But what I'm saying is that ultimately, and this is the point, ultimately, like, we always go back to phenotypes, and that's the point, is that whether you like it or not, you're attached to, like, because we're broken down into groups.
What's that got to do with how you live and who you are? Do you know what I mean?
No, it's got a lot to do with it. That's the whole point.
I ain't trying to take on no credit for what another man's doing.
In what sense?
Because he's black. Do you know what I mean? Like,
no, but you don't have to though, because again, like I say, there's.
That's
how who makes it. I have to hit you with your own words. That's how who makes it. You say they. Who?
People that make the agendas and try to put people in the squares that they put them in.
Okay, so the people who control narratives.
Yeah, control the narratives.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've made us have one Great Depression amongst all of us. And it's just the mentality that we don't come from much.
Not for everybody, but I know what you mean. Yeah, generally,
they don't equally teach us what everyone else equally teaches us. They tell us what history to take for ourselves. We're not supposed to be taking those histories, and then we act like we've been in this country forever. So we don't even acknowledge the fact that we're not where we're from. We're all people that's children of people that's migrated. You know what I mean, or grandchildren of people that's migrated. You know what I mean. So even that alone, it means that there's a lot of adjusting that we needed to do. we're almost expecting them to be ready for us to, you know what I mean, ready to facilitate us when we would come in somewhere. If they all came to where we're from, I'm sure we would. We haven't seen that yet for us to be able to facilitate them and facilitate all of these different cultures to come into one country. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't know what we would be like or what our countries would be like to then judge them on how they've treated us.
Well, those examples do exist, but they exist under different scenarios, so we can't compare. You're right.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes, I mean.
We don't know what it would be like if the world went to go live in Africa yet. That might happen now.
No. You say the world.
Not the world, but like it was a popular place to be.
Well, it was at one stage. That's the whole point.
That's what I'm saying, but we haven't seen that.
No, we have. Well, we're
seeing that now.
No.
Okay.
We have seen it, but what I'm saying to you is the way they came there and the way they stayed was completely different.
Yes.
And the reasons they came was different.
Okay. Yeah.
So again, like I say, like, you know, we have seen it.
But again, the stories that are told, I don't necessarily believe them either.
But I'm not talking about the stories you would or they tell or whatever.
What they did when they came, because they tell us Christopher Columbus found the whole world.
Yeah, I know, but I'm not talking about that, and I'm not even talking about necessarily what they're saying happened or didn't happen when they came. What I'm saying is the reasons they came and when they came is completely different to why we came.
How do you know that?
What do you mean?
How do you know that?
How do I know what?
That their reasons were different.
Their reasons were different because they wasn't brought over to help rebuild the country.
Okay, this time round. Yeah, I thought you talked about this whole slavery thing.
Slavery? No, I'm saying you talk about us here.
Yeah.
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 Most of the Windrush era and people like that came here to help after the war. That's what. So the people who you're talking about who went to these places, they didn't go there for that. They didn't go to Africa at that stage to go there to rebuild Africa. That's not why they went there. So that's what I was saying, is that you said, how do I know that they didn't go there for the same thing? Well, I know that because I know that the people who came in the Windrush era came for the reasons they came, and I know that the people who went to Africa in that era went to Africa for the reasons they went there. Do you know what I mean?
I'm sure them saying there's people that's gone for different reasons that we don't know, and there's lots of different.
Yeah, but we're generalising here, innit? So we have to stay on the point, which is basically the reasons why we came when we came here.
Yeah.
And the reasons why they went to Africa when they went there.
And we came here for money, they went there for money. Same reason.
We came here for money, they went there for money. Suppose you could loosely, I suppose you could argue that.
If you're talking about reasons.
I suppose you could loosely argue that. See, because I could get into semantics like what you just done and said, I'm sure there's people who, but, loosely, pretty much, you could say that. Yeah, only because I'm not into semantics and arguing for no reason, majoring in the minors.
Semantic narratives. There's loose narratives, semantic narratives. There's
no. No, but definitely, I wouldn't really, I wouldn't really argue that one.
I've heard you here for long enough.
No, like I said, just try and leave a space to have the conversation in it, the race conversation. I know it kind of gets on people's nerves. Yeah. People reactionary when race comes up, they just want to be like, but I just think, like, especially for people who try and make out like we're so open and we're so diverse and all this stuff.
If the narrative of race is controlled, and as it has been, it won't. There's no space for it to advance. Once people realize that race hasn't got color, race is that race, human race. So race has got the human connected to it, if anything. But so
what I'm saying is
if people change the narrative
we skip a lot of stuff that we assume people should just understand and know. And I know you know, but let me just finish what I'm saying.
All I'll say is people stop giving race power, giving the racist conversation power. It won't exist like it does. But when people give it the power, they give it power with the narrative that it has. They don't change the narrative. They give it power in the same way.
I know what you mean, but what I'm saying is that conversations about race need to be had. There's a lot of people, let me just finish, there's a lot of people who don't even understand race as a concept. So you see how, like, we're saying, there's only one race, the human race, blah, blah. Some people don't even understand that as a concept. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So when you say, so when you're saying, oh, you know, we should all be, you know, like wherever we come from and blah, 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 that's nationalism.
Yeah.
And we've all seen what national pride does. There's certain countries that don't even let you fly flags in their countries because they know what flags can do to certain individuals when they start getting behind their flag. Yeah. Do you understand what I'm saying to you, bro? So again, you say like we should be more into where we're from. Should we? Really? Should we really? Should we? Isn't that just like more division?
No, but
I'm from this country, you're from that country. Isn't that more division? Do you know what I mean?
Is it?
Isn't, well, obviously, we've seen it here on this island. You've got English, you've got...
But we're so mixed. Everyone's so mixed. Everyone
No. Listen to what I'm saying to you. On this island, you've got English, Scottish, Welsh. You've got Irish just over the water, yeah?
Yeah.
Now, what I'm saying is the rivalry between the people, and that's just the inhabitants of the island.
Yeah.
It becomes competitive, and it builds a certain amount of, like I say, it's almost like sibling rivalry, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Yeah. No,
but if you wasn't looking at him as a Welshman and him as a Scottishman and him as a, do you understand what I'm saying? Then there wouldn't be that divide, would there?
Yeah, no, I get what you mean by that.
Do you understand what I'm saying to you? So when you're saying that, you know, we shouldn't be classed as black, I agree with you because I don't like the term. But what I'm saying to you is that if we're going to get into like nationalism, then you get into, like I said, people who attach themselves to a culture or a flag or a nation before what they actually are, which in itself is dangerous as well, is what I'm saying to you.
But so if you see the same way we can all connect as black, we can all connect as human.
But that was my point to you. That's exactly the point I'm making. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. So when you're saying about being where we're from, I don't necessarily agree with that. I just think that obviously where you're from is where you're from.
Yeah,
do you get what I mean?
Where I'm from, I'm saying it's nice for me to sit. I feel like it's nice. I could listen to your history and enjoy it. If you told me, oh, mumsy's from here, dad's from there, you know what I mean? They met, grandparents is from here, you know what I mean? I could sit down and enjoy that without it being a battle. I understand it could be a battle, but just me and you exchanging history, I don't feel like it could make a battle. But it's just acknowledging that we have individual history. The individual history has been ignored too much, and everyone doesn't know enough about our own individual history to now go to that bucket history and then now fight for the bucket history over fighting over things that are where there might be issues in our bloodline that maybe we should be fighting. And the reason why they've been able to continue their agendas and their narratives for so long is because their bloodlines are obviously holding it up. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's like they know what they must have some sort of agenda that their bloodlines have. That's what they're keeping up. All of the other cultures wasn't keeping up this, so it's obviously people just mixed. We all enjoy, we've learned what it's like to mix, we've enjoyed mixing, you know what I mean? But whatever's happening is happening, and racism happens within even our own tribes, do you know what I mean? Even our own cultures. So
that's the type of topic for another day, I'm not going to get into that.
If we're going to talk about but you know, like in terms of tonism, let's just say tonism for the argument's sake.
I'm not going to use my term, but go on.
Yeah, you know
I'll save that, but go on.
Yeah, so like you got like you'll be in Africa, but the guy that's a bit light skinned is being dealt with differently. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You'll be in wherever area.
Yeah, colorism.
You'll be in Turkey, and the dark skinned Turkish people are being dealt with different. Asia, the dark skinned Asian men are being dealt with different to the light skinned ones or whatever.
Yeah, so, but why do you think colorism exists though?
That's another show. You know what I mean? Because I got a lot to say about that, but I don't want to start you off on what you said. I want to let you get home to that. You know
Alright, cool. Well, like I say, and like I've said, I don't believe that we leave the open and comfortable space for people to be honest and open about race. Do you know what I mean? And have that conversation. I don't think we do.
I hear what you're saying.
Do you know what I mean?
Definitely.
Do you know what I mean? And I would argue that most people, although they would like to feel like, yeah, I'm cool, like a but no. I think a lot of people, do you know what I mean, would have things they would like to say, but don't want to feel attacked when they say it because they wouldn't consider themselves to be racist, but they might hold a view that you might not agree with per se, but...
Would you bring them on the show? Would you bring them on the show?
Bring who on the show?
Like someone to just have some discussions with that might not have similar views to
you. Yeah, of course I would. That's the whole point, isn't it? To have these conversations. And like I say...
we'll get someone
Yeah, no, definitely.
I feel like we don't start some of the things that we're suggesting.
The thing about it is, like I said, all in due time. Certain people, I mean, don't get me wrong. There's somebody in particular I would love to bring on to have that conversation with, but I don't think they would do it, only because of an incident that happened. So I don't think they would do it. Do you know what I mean? But I would love for them to do it. Do you get what I mean? Because we had I wouldn't call it a misunderstanding, but we had an incident. Do you get what I mean? That, like I said, should have been just a conversation. You see what I mean? But it became more than a conversation based on the fact that he never felt comfortable to have the conversation in the first place.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you get what I'm saying? So he would be a great person to come on. Do you get what I'm saying? Because obviously he could explain his feelings on and how and why and whatever the case may be. But outside of that, I know other people. I know somebody else I would love to bring on because he's somebody who, if you looked at him, a lot of people would say, how do you know him? Basically. Yeah. Do you get what I'm saying?
That's the only way, to me. It's just a seed, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, like I say, there's loads of interesting conversations to have.
No, definitely.
That's why we're here, to have the debate, to have the conversation, to open it up. Do you know what I mean? And to be totally honest, like I say, I just want to really be facilitating it more so than trying to focus on my opinion or what I think more so than anything else.
We go back on my devil's advocate.
Yeah, but again, like I say, we always digress. We're going to do what we do. But again, like I say, it's nice to have other people to bounce it off. Definitely. The only reason why we don't go into certain conversations is because we're trying to keep it tiptoeing on the edges of certain conversations, because we're going to keep that for certain people and certain guests and all the rest of it. But yeah, we're going to wrap that one up.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, man. Cool, man. En route to clarity. The draw out. Agent X. We're out of here. Dislike, unsubscribe, unfollow, all of that. Brat.
Okay.
Yeah, we outie. Brat.